Welcome to Roguecast, the official podcast of Rogues Gallery. We'll talk comics for the week, as well as whatever news is on our pop cultural radar. I'm Randy.
I'm Nick.
This is Dave.
And now, on with the show. Hello and welcome to the Roguecast. If you're joining us late, we're still catching up on San Diego Con news.
Yes.
And D23 happened.
We are inundated with stuff.
Yep.
And I think it's pretty cool
That's
stuff.
not a bad problem.
No. We are not going to run out of anything to talk about. But once again, I should give up at the very front of the show. We may not get to things you're like, how have you guys not talked about Marvel moving to LA? We haven't gotten to it yet, but it is on our agenda. We will get to it.
And we do have an agenda, much like Doom does.
Yes. We have Doom.
All is going according to our plan.
Yes.
Our agenda is better than the Cylons, right?
Yes, we do have a plan. It's very different than the Cylons, and that they didn't have a plan.
Randy is a note-taker guy.
I am a
we
note-taker.
have to be better than the Cylons. I am not. If it was me alone, it would be
have a Cylon
exactly
plan?
like the Cylons.
David
I'd be
have a
like,
Cylon plan?
I'd be like, we're going to have a bunch of hot chick Cylons, and we're just going to kind of see what happens.
I'm listening.
And
So far, I like this plan, so I'm in.
I would go off in weird tangents. I would get back to the plan, but it would just be a lot of chaos.
So the things that I'll promise you that we're going to talk about this week. We're going to talk about the new games that have come in.
Yep.
We're going to talk about the new comics that have come in.
Yep.
We're going to talk about last week's graphic novels because I forgot to talk about it last week. We're going to talk Lanterns, which, just no spoilers, we all really enjoyed.
Yep.
Yes.
And we're going to talk a few of those trailers that came out of D23. And with any luck, we'll be talking about the X-Men cast, which is also big D23 news.
Yep.
Yes.
There may be more. There may be less. We'll see.
Don't panic.
But the best way to begin is by beginning. And so let's begin.
All right. Games.
Store news, actually.
Store news. Okay.
So we are running Star Wars Unlimited over at Spare Time Pflugerville.
Yes.
The first weekend went off really well. So that
Nice.
will be the continuing. We have room for 20 people, not 8. So if you've been wanting to try Star Wars Unlimited,
Heck yeah.
you can go over to Spare Time on Saturdays at like 11:30, runs till at 2:30. You can sign up on melee.gg. We have a new game coming up called Neuroscape, which is a cyberpunk, but it's hacking focused.
Yep.
That is a collectible card game that is dropping at the end of August. We will be doing some kind of pre-release organized play for that. We're talking to a volunteer about it. If you have an interest, we're going to set that up as soon as we know. It'll be at Spare Time as well. We're working with them on that.
It's hacking and cybernetics.
Hacking and cybernetics.
Because the two-player starter
Yes.
kit, one deck is hacking, the other is cybernetics, which I thought was
That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
The art looks good. It's a shiny looking game.
Yeah, and Cyberpunk is always cool.
Apparently Cyberpunk's-
You can get that before the Neuromancer show comes out, and you can go ahead and jack in early.
Yep. That's the thing you can do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pick up.
Jack in early, jack in off.
Pick up, jack in. Tune in, turn out, turn off,
Jack
jack
in.
in.
Tune in, turn on, turn in, tune in, turn in. Jack, what? Nope.
It's gonna
Just
go wrong.
Don't go too fast.
I'm not even going to screw that.
We are still having our Star Wars Unlimited sale on boxes, so we still have Lawless Time and Secret of Power play boosters boxes for sale, Secrets of Power and Lawless Time pre-releases, and some Lawless Time Carbonite booster boxes.
Cool.
So decent price cut if you want to jump on a couple of the Star
If
Wars
you go out to
Unlimited.
Spare Time, you play, you really love it, come buy a box.
There you go.
Yes.
And Batman Day is coming up September 19th. Just a reminder, this year that features Batman of Two Worlds, where Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez will be writing a story. Or no, it's not Jorge Jimenez. It's
Nick
Darrington doing a story of Batman in the DC 616, whatever that is. DC Prime, Earth 1.
Yeah, basically
Earth-
Absolute Batman and Batman.
The main universe.
But they will be investigating the same crime in their universes. There'll be no, from what we hear, crossover, but it will be the same story.
This sounds like something Fraction pitched.
Yeah,
It's like, we
it
can
does.
do this.
It does. So
But it is essentially
it's the first crossover between Absolute and unless you got DC.
But this is basically DC trying to hit a home run with Batman Day, because they're doing that. They're also releasing the third volume of Absolute Batman.
There's
a ton of stuff.
Oh, I forgot that third volume was hitting that
They're
day
doing some
too.
synergy.
DC has a pretty good thing going with Batman.
I can't say this is good marketing. I think it's good
right now. Batman is great. Absolute Batman is great. Detective Comics is great. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Batman has a strong track record in general, but they are particularly synergized right now.
And they're going to launch that Shadow of Batman or whatever it is by the creative team from Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Yeah,
which also has a pretty good shot at being. I am generally not a let's have multiple Batman or multiple Spider-Man books, but I'm going to allow it.
I'm excited for that book.
I'm going to call up DC and say, you know what? Thumbs up. Go ahead and do it.
They're like, thanks, Randy. Please don't use this number anymore.
I thought the restraining order covered phone calls. I'm like, no, the restraining order is to keep me away from Marvel pitching my D-Man series.
Can't get within 500 feet or use a phone at us.
All right. New games. There was quite a few new games. So D&D Ravenloft, Mists of Ravenloft treasure packs. This is the newest of those blind dice sets that come with a bag and a coin. And they're Ravenloft themed to tie into the new Ravenloft book.
Yep. Somebody picked some up the other day and they were like, I don't know, I feel like they were like smoky dice with like this cool kind of purple numbers on them. They look
Smoky Dice, actually my blues name.
Isn't there a chance to get the Strahd medallion?
I believe there is, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
We've got the expansion for Wandering Tower, which is a board game that's about magic towers. Yep. We have Dragon Tricks, which is a all ages trick-taking game with dragon themes.
Cool.
There's egg hatching. So every time you win a trick, you collect a cute dragon egg that will eventually hatch.
That seems like a cool way to get kids into that kind of a trick-taking game.
Yeah. The Invincible RPG came out. There is a starter set, and then there is a core rulebook.
And I'm here to tell you the important thing you need to know about it. I was like, how does the violence work?
Yep.
And I looked in like in some ways it's like got classic, I don't know exactly what their rule system is,
right.
But I turned to a page that had like a big bloody punch on it. And I saw off to the side of it, it said something like critical hit table.
Okay. All right.
And it was like you roll a D20 or whatever. And it's like on a 7, it's like your leg is mangled to pieces or whatever. It was the violent stuff.
They got the vibe.
But I did see that there's a little note next to it, and it's like it showed the heal time for whatever the injury was. Mm-hmm. And like for your leg is completely messed up, it was like 2 to 3 weeks. So they have like superhero healing going on. So like even when that happens, you're not out of the game.
I feel like I'm remembering correctly. This is put out through Free League, right?
This is Free League, and they do Aliens, Blade Runner,
and this is
Dragonbane,
using some of the Alien RPG
some of the
stuff.
Alien, yeah.
Which is really good mechanics.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a beautiful game. So yeah. Also, Marvel Multiverse, if you want a slightly less violent Marvel superhero game, released their Secret Wars expansion today, which is not just there's like one slight chapter about Secret Wars and the battle world and all that.
Although I realize that like it's not insubstantial.
No, it's a good chunk of it.
There's a lot of lore.
But they also, it's got a Fantastic Four chapter, a Guardians of the Galaxy chapter, a chapter about Doctor Doom.
Like in a lot of ways, it seems like a big hero team and like major players update.
Yep. So worth a look. I've flipped through it. I've been picking all these up.
That's pretty notable.
There's a game called Spell, which is a dueling game for 2 players set during the legendary Tournament of Aphilest. Tournament of Aphilest.
I'm always talking about it.
Where the powerful witches and sorcerers compete for the Gem of Vrillanar. The Gem of Vrillanar.
That's a very important thing.
Which is an artifact as we all know, an artifact forged to command the Hosts of Darkness.
For sure.
Rival mages use activated tiles to recreate rune shapes and cast spells. You're manipulating a battle for. You're summoning elementals, teleporting across the arena.
That sounds cool.
It's really cool. It looks like a fun. It also has a solo mode. It's just like a puzzle, like a Tetris-y thing.
Yeah.
So that looks fun. It's a small game.
Okay.
The Hunt, which is a asymmetric historical strategy game set in Europe in 1945.
Oh, this is the Nazi hunting game.
Yeah, you are the U.S., Soviet Union, the Tsar, or the Network trying to track down and capture Nazi fugitives.
Was the Tsar running things in 1945?
It says TZAAR.
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
That is, it's another word for it, but I think it was, man, historians out there are going to freak. I'm not going to even guess. I'm not going to guess, but I'm going to guess it's a leadership position because I've seen this name for sure before. Yeah. But that is distinct from the noble ruling class that was overthrown in the Russian Revolution.
Oh, okay. All right.
But details I cannot provide.
So it was the descendant of Peter the Great and Catherine the Great.
Maybe we should call it the Tsar.
The Tsar. Yeah, that's how it's pronounced, right?
Senior Tsar?
Senior Tsar. Yes. You can play the U.S., the Soviet Union, the Network, or Senior Tsar. In case anyone doesn't know, we enjoy making you yell back at us.
Yeah.
we can hear your frustration.
Yes, these are the dumbest guys to ever host a podcast.
We're not historians. We don't know history. We don't know about Sonic.
Right. We are comic book historians is what we've got, and then that's a little shaky too.
Yeah, it is. Duel of Melloc, which is a standalone game that combines elements of Scythe and Expeditions.
Oh, right. So this is actually is it an actual Scythe spinoff?
It's a 2-player game in the Scythe
Scythiverse.
So here's the thing. It says one player uses the Scythe rules, including a new faction and player mat.
Oh.
One player uses the Expedition rules, including a new mech character and companion.
Oh.
As long as you know one of the games, your opponent knows the other, you can play Duel of Melloc, which is fascinating.
What?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Is this one of those where like how like Dune had the original Dune board game,
Yep.
and then they did an expansion that was kind of like, well, you could use it as an expansion, but it was also a core game.
This is just a core game, but it uses
This sounds like
literally uses the rules from Scythe and Expeditions. That's really interesting.
This
to me.
sounds like Batman of Two Worlds. You're doing two
Yep.
things.
Yes, it is the Batman of Two Worlds of board games.
Yeah.
I only know that the Scythe people make great games.
They do.
They have
Yeah.
amazing artwork and the lore behind it all, where
Yeah.
they're kind of warring alternate history, World War I era agrarian.
It's Russia.
combat.
It's Tsar.
Right. The land of the Senior Tsar.
Yeah, Senior Tsar.
But yes, you are sort of all. It's like the sort of Eastern European countries and stuff vying for power. It is a cool setting and should be, if it isn't already, some kind of a Netflix show.
Tsar and his mech brigade.
Yes.
The also from Stonemaier Games, there is Wingspan Pocket, which
Yep.
is a what it sounds like. It's a
Wingspan that'll fit in your pocket.
It's Wingspan is
Sort
a
of.
shorter card-driven game. You activate a single row of cards. The cards are double-sided, food and bird. So it's just a sort of a quick play version of Wingspan.
My
That's really cool.
experience with scaled down versions of games is that they are surprisingly good. I remember trying this at times with like stuff like Catan and some other games, seeing scaled down versions.
The Catan on the Go edition is really cool.
And they're
Yeah.
like usually really good, and like the dice Catan
I
and
have
some
the
of those other ones I
Azul
played.
one, the little pocket one.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Those. That's cool.
They're generally pretty smartly done.
yeah.
They pull in a few of the mechanics that you like best, and it's just like a sort of simpler, quicker play.
Did you all realize that I thought about this recently? This board game renaissance we're in.
Yeah.
Catan came out in 1995.
Yeah.
So really, it's only like 30 years that we've had the games the way
yeah.
we have. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it is a relatively recent explosion
For sure.
because we played like some of the TSR or the strategy, like the squad level games, but
Yeah.
like I played Blood Bowl, but
played
really
Blood Bowl.
the sort of board game expansion we've had is really 30 years.
The true Euro gaming style. Because like what's funny is like Blood Bowl is kind of like UK Ameritrash. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It is like high on theme and
Yes.
great at it,
100%.
but not like it's really a deep strategy game. It's a chaotic fun game. But yeah, that's it's relatively short, but it's also 3 decades is not nothing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Oh no. The amoebas have escaped.
oh no, is this the name of something?
That's
It is.
Panic Lab is the I saw that that's what they start their description with.
It's a small
Nice.
game.
It's a brain-burning challenge your customers will love. You roll 4 dice, you determine which amoeba you're looking for and which lab they escaped from. And they might mutate or escape through air vents. You've got to match the correct amoeba before your opponents.
That sounds fun. What's the actual name of the game?
Panic Lab.
Panic Lab.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
We got the newest.
Why would you take a job at the Panic Lab?
It does sound like a bad idea.
But the benefits are good.
I was
Yeah.
going
The
to say,
benefits are
sometimes
good.
you just need the money. I don't know.
When you come in for the interview, they're like, "How do you feel about Panic?"
I'm like, not the best thing, but I already live with a certain amount of
They
it.
ring the alarm, and if you can, you can survive.
How do you think like Umbrella Corp and all these other places?
Yeah, that's how they
That's-
hire.
still
That's
get
the They're like, "Come work at our Panic Lab."
Do you think the alarm goes off and just like an automated voice is like, amoeba is loose again.
Amoebas are loose. The amoebas are loose.
Get them.
We have the newest D&D Icons booster set, which is
Yep.
Adventures in Faerun, which includes the Cultist of Merkel, the Shape-Changing Beast of Malar, the Purple Dragon Knight, or the Drow Harper Warrior Veteran.
Sorry, what is this?
Randy made up a couple of those on the fly.
The miniatures, the new miniature set.
These are the ones where they're like some pre-painted miniature,
Yep.
Yeah.
sort of like
Yep.
like the
Like the
Warband
booster boxes.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw those. I saw at least two different ones.
Well, there's just the new one, the Adventures of
These are
Faerun.
the blind boxes.
Oh, the blind boxes.
Yeah.
Okay, because I felt like I'd seen some
They're
recently
new-
that
You
were,
did see those two. That is Spell and Staff,
yeah.
or Spell and Steel, and Swords and Staves.
Which I know that people are often looking for kind of like, hey, do you just have some general hero type ones? And like, yes, we do.
You know what's good about these two? We always complaining that like the Nolzer stuff is heavy on humans and elves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the set Spells and Steel, these are all pre-painted. You get a Goliath Barbarian, a Tiefling Bard, a human druid, a dwarf cleric, a halfling rogue, and an elf sorcerer. So a big mix.
Yep.
Swords and staves, you get a dwarf fighter, an orc paladin, elf ranger, dragonborn monk, gnome warlock, and Aasimar wizard. Now, I think they should do more and keep like mixing those races in a little bit.
Yep.
Like it'd really be good. People like to play furbolgs or like fox people. Like they need to take care of those people too. But they are getting like not just humans.
Turtle people.
Yep.
Turtle people, turtles.
Yep.
Turtles.
Monk turtles. You know what you're going to do with it.
The latest Horrified, the co-op game comes out. It is the Ravenloft this time.
Oh, I forgot that was coming up.
Which includes not just Strahd von Zervich, but Baba Lysaga, which is their Baba Yaga.
Yes.
The Golthius Tree. I don't know who that is.
Sounds like an evil druid tree or something.
And Carrionet, which is, I'm going to get...
Gotta be the little evil toys.
Puppets.
Yep. That sounds awesome.
Yep. Thunder Road Vendetta, the RPG, which is Thunder Road Vendetta is one of my favorite board games.
Right.
It's car warfare.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a Game Master kit, which comes with a screen, a card deck, and this is my favorite part, a set of Thunder Road Vendetta keys, which it says the player can grab to gain control. But then all the danger is on them. I don't know what that means, but having an actual set of like Thunder Road Vendetta keys, that's fun.
Cool.
I like
that. That is pretty cool.
Red Dragon Inn 10 comes out.
Yep.
This is a standalone, but also an expansion for basically Red Dragon Inn. If you don't know, it is, you all have your adventurers. You got to go to the bar, divide up the loot, and you basically send drinks around. And if you're the last person standing, you get all the loot and you win the game.
And it is a board game based on sort of role-playing game concepts.
Yes.
Like a D&D party, but yes, it's the board game of the after party at the bar, at the tavern.
Root, the game of forest warfare.
Yep, little cute animals battling it out in the woods.
They have a new expansion, the Homeland expansion, 3 new factions and new maps, the Lilypad Diaspora, Twilight Council, and the Knaves of Deepwood. One of those is a frogs, for sure.
One of those are frogs.
I don't know what the Twilight Council, the Knaves of Deepwood are.
Twilight Council has to be nocturnal animals.
Probably.
But it could be
owls.
like raccoon. Yeah, owls would make sense.
The raccoon, I think, is their Ronin.
Knaves feel like it could be like a doofus little possum, but I don't know.
So the Twilight Council, bats. Looks like.
Oh, that makes sense.
So it says it's a woodland alliance, so it's not just bats, but it says that it includes all the woodfolk, but the bats are sort of the leader.
Okay.
And then the Knaves of Deepwood, I'm just going to look up.
Yep.
Let's see if there's more than one. Nope, there we go. It says they ask you... is that a skunk? I see a skunk. I'm looking to see if it's giving me any more details.
I feel like Randy is giving me a palm reading, and he's like, I see a skunk.
I see skunk.
A skunk in your future?
Yep.
Do you know anybody by the name of Skunk?
So it says you have 3 captains, a birdsong captain, a daylight captain, and an evening captain. They cannot share the same clearing. They've got their own turf.
Is this a weird thing where you actually mix some of the existing...
They're all skunks.
Groups?
They're all skunks.
It's all skunks?
Yeah,
all
they are.
skunks. Are they? Okay.
You get
all
10
right.
skunk tokens.
Okay, all right. 10 skunk
Anyway,
tokens.
yeah.
Anyway, there's that, and they also have a hireling pack, which is more new hirelings, and a squires and disciples deck, which adds a couple people. So there's
And just to reiterate, despite the kind of cartoony woodland vibe, this is actually a fairly intense game of, not intense, but of warring factions.
It's not like Diplomacy where you won't be friends with the person you're playing with anymore. But
it is not
a war game.
like a completely lightweight game for the kiddies.
It's a really good game.
Yeah.
The Gang Deluxe Edition. This is the Gang it's a co-op poker game.
Okay.
Where you bet on how good you think your cards are, and you're trying to guess who has the best, second best, and third best, etc. as a group without being able to tell each other what cards you have. It's a fun game. The Deluxe Edition is a big, fancy, nice ceramic poker chip, casino quality cards, a play mat, all that kind of stuff.
Fancy.
Nice. When people come over here from the lodge, we should say
Show them
hey,
the Gang.
Yeah.
The Crew, which is a cooperative trick taker, has a new game, Journey to the Ends of the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
The previous one was like Deep Sea and then Deep Space. This one is, you're traveling around the world in a race against time on the hunt for Charlemagne's secret treasure. Up Mount Everest, through the Amazon rainforest, and beyond.
Okay.
So like an Indiana Jones theme.
globe hopping.
Kind of fun. I can't play these games, so I'm not good enough at trick takers. It makes me feel super stressed because I know I'm going to land the whole group down. But if you're not a terrible person at trick takers, this is a beloved game and a new version of. I think it's got like 24 rounds, essentially, so you get a lot of play out of it.
Okay.
There's a new Battletech starter box which is, BattleTech.
Yep,
Robots.
BattleTech's been blown up lately.
Yep.
It's like a cool theme. Am I correct? It's essentially there's like they kind of have their own far-flung future Game of Thrones.
Yes,
with the different rival clans.
The Star Empire or whatever fell apart, and now there's like 5 or 6 clans that are like vying for control. And and then there's the actual like the clans with people who went away and came back and have like higher technology because they're playing with a little of that Warhammer 40K like Lost. They don't know how to rebuild mechs and that kind of thing.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay,
or they can build them, but they can't build like the super fancy ones. They have to cannibalize their parts. There's. We have friends who've been playing it for like decades.
Yes.
And like that is they know all the history and the lore, and I don't know it that well.
Right. But ultimately you're gonna get inside a giant mech suit and blow stuff up.
Right. I know about as well as I know Sonic. I don't know which faction used the biplane.
I think Shadow.
Yeah. Shadow is the head of House Kurita.
Yes. Listen, the crossovers probably happened. Somebody probably painted some Sonic mechs.
Yes. Yeah. Skull Tales Full Sail is a big, giant campaign game. You're going through islands, temples, caves, Spanish villages. You're a pirate aboard the dreaded Southern Lady.
Okay.
And you're hunting for fame and fortune across the Caribbean. High seas are filled with danger and monsters. There are 12 characters with different skills: magic, firearms, explosive, sharp shields, or sharp swords. Even the captain's daughter's monkey.
Okay.
So you pick a character and you play this sort of big campaign pirate game.
Campaign pirate game. That sounds cool.
It looks really
cool.
cool.
There's like a wide variety of stuff you can do in it too.
This has the feel of a Kickstarter kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a game called Fled, which is by, I can't remember the name of this creator, but he does a bunch of these games. Mark something. It is Ireland's famine drove you to petty theft. You're inside the walls of Spike Island prison, shackled and shoeless. It's a tile game. You sneak through quarters, sidestep wardens, and gather the items you'll need to escape. Mind the governor's whistle.
Did they say mind to the governors?
Mind the governor's
whistle. Is it almost like the equivalent of like a motion tracker where like, we hear the whistle, he's nearby, roll the dice and see if he's actually in the square, something like that.
It also problematically wishes you luck of the Irish to ye.
Hey, to some degree, I believe the Irish embrace some of the fun and the goofy stereotypes. Because, it's also kind of like you get some cool stereotypes with it. Like you're a cool, fun, two-fisted drinker. I wish I was a cool, fun, two-fisted drinker.
I know.
I'm just a drinker.
There's also an expansion called The Governor's Hound and The Spectre.
Okay, that is fun.
This looks fun. It's a little board game or a little card game. And then finally, there's a game called Pyrotechnics, a 2-player card duel that fits in your pocket and delivers 10-minute bursts of lightly strategic gameplay.
Oh,
it says good. 18 cards and 36 spark tokens.
That is the exact level of strategic gameplay I can take. 10-minute bursts.
All right, let's talk about comics for the week.
Okay.
Let's start off with a comic that's actually free that people can pick up.
Yep.
Which is the Midnight Universe Black and White Ashcan edition. This is Marvel's little sampler of their new nightmare-driven universe. They call it a creator-driven line.
I need to read this because, I know of Midnight. I've seen people getting hyped for it. I've seen cool artwork for it. It's clearly Marvel horror stuff.
Marvel's giving us
but I don't quite know the premise.
Spearheaded by Hickman. Right?
They're giving us a big push. Jonathan Hickman is writing the Midnight X-Men series, which seems to be about vampires.
Yeah.
Benjamin Percy is writing the Midnight Fantastic Four, which is it says a scientist's curiosity accidentally unleashes ancient terrors upon the world while also transforming himself in 3 hours in strange and horrifying ways.
Oh, so like
body horror, Cthulhu, Lovecraftian, yes.
Yeah.
And then Midnight Spider-Man. Spider-Man discovers that with great power comes something monstrous. So basically he's bitten by a spider that transforms him. He says, when he becomes a victim in a monstrous oligarch's obsession with immortality, his newfound powers turn him into a monster too, and his dreams of transformation become a desperate attempt to reclaim his humanity before it's lost forever. So a little bit of that, so
almost a little more. You know how Darkman was a combination of the Phantom of the Opera with Pulp Hero and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's interesting. What I'm curious about all of these, I was trying to tell if these were essentially villain books, and Spider-Man sounds more like he's a monster hero.
I think it's going to be more tortured monsters.
Yeah. That sounds fun.
So there are 3 books. The Ashcan has pages from each one.
Right. It's black, kind of like black and white preview art.
Yep.
Very nice looking.
And the pitch from each creator. And they also mentioned the variant covers. They're going to do 5 variant covers for each one. The regular edition, the Midnight Bloodbath, which is blood-soaked covers showcasing the Terror Midnight Universe. The Midnight Special, which will showcase midnight reimaginings of Marvel heroes new and old.
Oh, interesting.
The Midnight Horror Homage, which is inspired by iconic horror images.
Right, movie posters and stuff like that.
And Midnight Gallery, prestige painted covers of the haunted Midnight Universe. Now, I am not a fan of variant covers being this widespread, but they have a reason for it and a theme to each one. Yeah. I really like that.
Yeah. Those are probably... We think this is going to be pretty huge.
Marvel is putting so much behind it. On October 7th, these 3 books will be the only Marvel books released that day.
Yes. They are they're shining a huge spotlight on it, and they are saying, hey, y'all, get on board.
So this week we got the free Ashcan editions.
Yeah, you can...
If you want one, come pick it up. If you want us to drop into your file, we got a bunch. Just let us know. We'll throw one in your file for you.
Yeah, but it is Wall Supplies Labs.
Yes. So and if you want to sub to them, let us know. We're expecting these to do really well.
Yeah, and the last time there was a little release of sort of instead of 3, it was 4 things. It was the launch of the Absolute Universe, and it turns out that probably was a good thing. It would have been
all right.
An ideal thing to get on board from the day one.
Yep.
So this is your shot.
I would assume if I'm Marvel, I bet they have a second wave that's ready to go just to see because if it goes. I bet they'll have announcements pretty soon.
From what I understand, hasn't Hickman said that he's got a 3-year plan?
He's got 3 years worth of work on this,
Which, that's not nothing.
That is 36 issues worth of material, which is a lot.
And Hickman usually does commit.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go ahead and throw out a few advanced ideas.
Okay.
Wonder Man is a ghost.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. Beta Ray Bill... As Dracula.
Yeah.
Beta Ray Acula.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And finally, the Power Pack kids.
Our little gremlins.
And
if you get them one after midnight, they will develop superpowers.
That's right. That's right. That's their secret origin.
That's why we're not writing.
That's why we're not writing this. Yeah.
But Marvel, call us.
Yeah. Do you see how fast we came up with those ideas?
Yeah, right. Just nothing.
Give me and Randy an hour.
Yeah.
And we could have 70...
Name me a character. I'll midnight them.
And no AI was used.
Yeah, just
no intelligence of any kind.
If you just walk in the store and you just throw a character name at Randy or a superhero team and say midnight it.
Yeah, midnight it.
Yeah, it's getting your special at the diner.
Yes,
only do that when Randy and Dave are here. I don't really.
Nick will midnight. Nick is resisting, but he'll midnight him for you. It's a service we offer. We'll midnight him for you. All right. This week, G.I. Joe number 25 comes out. And
this is a cool issue where a bunch of
This is a big double-sized.
Yep, it is part 1 of 5 of the Night Force story. So if you've been reading, then you know. If you haven't, we're about to spoil it for you. There is a second G.I. Joe team called Night Force.
Led by
Flint.
By Hawk, but as a different twist.
Right. Hawk,
there is a twist.
Yes.
But basically, think of them as the stealth team.
Special ops.
Yeah.
Special ops team. And they are also, as you'll see in this, a little full of themselves.
It's Flint, Lady J, Roadblock, Beachhead, and...
They're not all stealth
ninjas. What's her name?
No, Shooter.
They're not all stealth ninjas. Roadblock is a heavy hitter, but they kind of go on very specialized missions, and they've been very effective at it. And they kind of think the main team, they're kind of is a little sloppy.
There's a bit early. They're fighting these robots in a is it a training mission or are they just fighting?
It's like a training mission, and it's the old snake robots.
Lady J is I don't know why. Basically, she's why do they treat G.I. Joe like kids and put them against Cobra? And Beachhead's if Hawk sent us, we'd all be barbecuing Snake by the time the dinner bell rang.
Yep.
It's pretty great.
So
a little overconfident.
One
of the big reveal, and I'm not going to say what the reveal is, but one of the big secrets about Hawk comes out here to one of the characters.
Yes.
And sets this whole thing in motion. And it's a race. It is also a sort of the Joes having to choose their loyalty, and it's going to pit them against the Night Force.
Yep.
And it's a great issue.
And I think we can say, because I think this is an interesting character spotlight in it, that the Baroness is getting some interesting stuff to do in this.
For sure.
And she gets to be kind of cool, and they just get to see some new stuff from her.
Yeah,
it's not the one-dimensional Baroness that we know.
You know what? The Baroness in the originals was good too, but she's better here.
Yeah, I mean, they've.
I don't know that this has more depth than OG Baroness, who was conflicted in her loyalty to Cobra Commander and Destro.
It's true.
and was already a hot chick in the 80s.
Okay, well, more depth than the cartoon version.
More depth than the cartoon.
Yes.
More depth than the cartoon, yes.
Mighty Thor, or Mortal Thor number 14 is also Thor number 800. So this is a big turning point in the Mortal Thor story where we see Odin and Loki and exactly what's going on with the Mortal Thor and the World Serpent. I have been reading and loving this book, the last few issues especially, and they do some really cool stuff in here.
World Serpent, Jormungandr.
Yep. And then there's a backup story by Kieran Gillen and Declan Shalvey that is sort of a history of Thor.
That's a team.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And another backup story that's I forget who the creators are, but it's Chris Condon and Jesse Lonergan. But it seems to be sort of like a more of a semi-futuristic Thor
good.
story.
Yeah, Thor is kind of like always on my list to do some catching up on in Al Ewing's runs.
I really like Mortal Thor, and this is a great issue.
Yeah,
I don't know that I'd recommend jumping on it because it is sort of a big.
Sure. But it's interesting to me, Randy, because you've plugged into this more than in general in the past. Because you're usually not a big Thor guy.
I'm not a big Thor guy.
I don't think you'd like to hate Thor, but you're just like, I'm probably not going to usually read his adventures.
He's fine.
But now there you are.
Now
reading his
I
adventures.
love Thor.
You just needed Al Ewing to come in.
I just need him to be immortal with a hammer on a chain.
Yeah. Just busting up fascists with his hammer.
I do like that. Spider-Man, Hulk, Fire and Brimstone. Marvel was ready for Spider-Man Brand New Day. I don't know if they were ready for quite how big it was.
Right.
But they have, this week, Spider-Man Punisher number 2 comes out. They have Spider-Man Brand New Day, which came out last week. And they also have Spider-Man, Hulk, Fire and Brimstone, which is Kevin Smith writing a Spider-Man Hulk story that is going to have sort of an interesting take on how to cure the Hulk that I don't know if we've seen before.
I think we can say it because it's in the solicit.
Is it in the solicit?
And also, like, it's the Kevin Smith who did Dogma and has some interest in religion and stuff like that, too. That there's essentially an exorcism is considered as a possible means of freeing himself.
Exorcise the Hulk.
Yeah. And so it's a miniseries?
Yes, this is a miniseries.
So it's going to have some funny stuff. It's going to have some serious stuff.
Image has a couple things this week. One of them is Bug Wars: The Coming of the Wardoom.
My pick.
This is Jason Aaron's. Since I like Jason Aaron so much, I should really go back and give this book a read.
This is heavy metal, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
It really is, though, because like the idea is like there's these, a single person's backyard becomes like this Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, fantasy, dark fantasy kingdom.
Okay,
but it's not
this
like
kid is the heir of a power that basically is to rule them all.
You can kind of shrink down, but like, so here's the interesting thing though. They're not literal bugs. It's like when you go down to that level, you sort of see them, and instead of being like insects running around, it's people, and it's like, those are the different tribes and factions.
The spiders are the witches.
Right. But they look like, imagine cool Conan gear and stuff like that, and you'll see elements of it. I'm sure like the guys who are like the ants have cool helmets with like pinchers on it. But again, imagine if that was like done Game of Thrones style.
Yeah, all like chitin and...
Yep. And and there's also like, it is a sort of a edgy book. There's swearing, there's violence, there's sex.
There's a naughty cover by Babs Tarr this week in a polybag.
Yep. What's funny is that this kid, it's kind of like, a little bit of that, way back in the original heavy metal movie, and this was from the comics. Who's that dude who's Richard Corbin created? Den.
Yeah.
Den was like a kind of a nerdy kid from the real world who somehow went to this fantasy world and became this big muscular dude running around and kicking ass like Conan style. Mm-hmm. But I think a little bit more barefisted.
Yeah.
This kid
voiced by John Candy in the heavy metal movie,
which is insane.
Yep.
But there you go. But yeah, this kid who's like 17, and he's got kind of like a brother that he kind of has frenemies with, right? Kind of like love and hate thing.
His father was a bug guy.
Like an exterminator?
No. He was like an entomologist. Yeah. And kind of was like number one in his field kind of thing. He has always loved bugs. Something happened to his brother that basically scarred him as a child with bugs.
Right.
So he hates bugs and will destroy them all.
Right.
So there is kind of this lineage. He gets sucked into this world.
And in this world, it's like he finds out, it's almost like you become Den, Conan, whatever. Yeah. He's kind of got his human strength in the world.
Yep.
Or at least he does when things are going well. There's kind of ways it doesn't always happen.
It's called the Slaymaker.
Yes, because his family's name is something like that. Anyway, this is a new miniseries set in that world, in which there's going to be encroachment. It seems like from the nearby forest.
It is a new threat.
Yeah, if you want to think about a forest is like another kingdom in this world, and it's there's something very cool in this first issue where there's a map in the back. Yep. You'd have a map of a fantasy world.
Yeah.
And he is Jason Aaron. We've talked about this in the past, whether he's doing Turtles or anything else he's done. He's a really strong world builder, and this is probably his world buildingest project.
Yeah, he's definitely thought out a ton of this. All of this stuff.
What he'll do is he'll take an insect, right? He'll take a cicada or a mosquito or whatever, and he'll be like, "What are the interesting things about this in the insect in the real world? Okay, now how do I translate that to this? It's like, oh, it turns out." Mosquitoes, in addition to being annoying pests, but they're they're really protective of their mates, or something like that. He'll find out, and he'll be like, okay, that's going to become part of the lore of this clan, this faction, and I'm going to give him this cool ass armor and these cool swords and stuff. And so you're buying into this really interesting world, in addition to seeing kind of the weird teenage life of this kid who could be their savior Conan guy.
Yeah. If any of this sounds interesting, this is a book you need to read. It's a ton of fun. I love it.
So let me ask you this, Nick, and I don't know the answer. Is this, could they come in on this one if they hadn't read the previous one, or should they read the graphic novel?
They should read the first one.
Because it's got all the kind of built up.
It's the build up of the character.
Yeah, it seems like they did the miniseries, and then he's going to keep doing sort of one-shot specials. I don't know if he's going to go back as a regular series or not.
No, this is a miniseries.
Oh, this is a miniseries.
This is the next...
Oh, well, then I guess
I think it is essentially a series of miniseries. There was one shot.
Yeah, there was the first series, a one-shot focusing...
I thought this was another one-shot.
No, focusing on the one of the spider witches, and then this one is a new series.
Oh, okay. Good to know. I did not know that.
Yep. Did I see, Nick, that he's got there's a kind of a goth chick he's trying to sort of hook up with,
kind of
or
romantic,
make a connection with, and he's awkward.
It's their new neighbor that just moved in.
Yeah, it's very adorable.
Image also has The Last Driver by Sean Murphy of the Batman White Knight.
What else did he do? Punk Rock Jesus was that with Morrison?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Punk Rock Jesus was just him.
Or was that his?
Oh, you're right. Oh, no.
He did the
Joe the Barbarian with
Morrison.
Okay, but yeah, he's a hugely talented artist, and he's been doing more of his own projects lately since Batman White Knight? Is that what I was saying?
Yeah. So this thing starts with the notion that there's a red-blue divide on the internet.
Yeah, and talking about political red-blue.
And as a result, the poor are going to live in a desert, and the luxury people in the cities. And then the cities cut the poor off, and their only way is through the grid, which is the transportation system. And the desert is going to be shut out entirely. The rich are going to isolate the poor. This, of course, is based on nothing that's actually could happen. But
this is somehow a racing comic.
The person who stopped them is The Last Driver, because people don't drive anymore. They ride in pods. They don't know what a car is. So this,
you know what this sounds like? This sounds like almost like if they were rethinking Ravage 2099 for today.
Yeah.
Because it is true, the notion of self-driving cars, really, I guess, since that Spielberg movie, Minority Report, has taken off in our imagination and is just becoming a reality.
This guy's
he's like, no, I drive my own car.
This guy's going to drive his fancy Corvette for change.
Is that like a muscle car kind of?
It is. Well, he originally is driving like a muscle car, looks like an Evil Knievel car.
Yeah,
but the car he's going to be driving is like a yellow Corvette Stingray.
Okay.
Corvette Stingray.
It is clear that Murphy is a car guy.
Yeah.
Because the tires have the Firestone logo on. He is definitely drawing.
He's going the extra mile and he can draw. I'll say this: I haven't read this yet, but this dude can draw a car.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is done in the long ways.
It's long ways format. It's weird.
Yeah. It did way back in the day. Wasn't 300 somewhat done like this?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And we've seen a few other ones over the years. Anyway, I'm sure he wanted essentially, long roads, racing scenes that took advantage of a horizontal format rather than a vertical.
Anyway, if you like cars and post-apocalypse
and
race,
and a little bit of politics
and shiny art, you'll want this one.
Yeah.
EC Comics has a one-shot this week called Shellshock that is all war stories.
I don't know, if people, I know comic sort of fans, longtime comic fans or fans who know some lore know this, but EC Comics, while famous for their horror comics, all this stuff that led to Tales from the Crypt, also did these other genres in their era, which was
crime,
sci-fi, crime, westerns,
romance,
and war comics. But when I say war comics, like most modern war movies, it's anti-war.
Yeah.
But they kind of, if you are kind of like a little kid who was like, soldiers and shit seems cool to you. I was for sure that kid.
Yep.
So you're telling me they weren't just focused on one thing. They had a broader range of comics.
Yeah.
I see the artists in here include Tom Fowler, David Lapham, Sean Martinborough.
Yeah. Yep.
It's good. It's a good list of people.
But yeah, they EC Comics, no matter what they're doing, always kind of does the relatively short, punchy stories. Always standalone. Yep. I don't know that I've ever known them to do multi-parters.
Yep.
They want you to get what you're getting, like a real bite of a story, sometimes with a twist ending.
Yep.
Within 10 or 12 pages.
We got the facsimile edition of the Harrowers last week or the week before. We got Clive Barker's.
The Pinhead thing.
Was the Pinhead?
Yeah.
This was hit from his Marvel Barker-verse line of books.
Yeah. Yep.
The Harrowers is, I think, his sort of horror superhero team.
Okay.
But this is a facsimile of that because they are going to do some new one-shots of Hellraiser. So this is a facsimile of the. I don't remember who does it, but it's a sort of 90s horror superhero.
I think I probably when we got the Pinhead one, and I pointed out that if you're like one of those horror movie nerds, especially sort of for the kind of darker Hellraiser-y stuff, even though these comics are reprinting stuff that was from a somewhat over-the-top era of comics. This is a unique these are fun little weird milestones. The Marvel comics of the 90s meets horror.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't forget, did you say, did Barker actually work on these?
I think he was the originator. I'm not sure he actually worked or if he's just here's some ideas.
But yeah, if you're a slasher and Hellraiser fan, you should probably check it out.
Yep. We also have a, Lazarus Order, which is this was the one that has the plague doctors.
Right. I wasn't sure if this was set in actual medieval times or sort of our modern times, but or a dystopian future.
Yeah.
But I think it's medieval times. But anyway, it uses the iconography of the plague doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like, I was just saying yesterday to you, Randy, that that was such a fascinating image that we showed up in a lot of imagery during the pandemic, whether it was memes or I've even seen there's an app game where you play a plague doctor.
Yep.
Anyway, in this, it seems like in their alternate kind of timeline, plague doctors actually gain powers through some sort of pact with God. It's almost like they give up their soul in order to get some sort of powers that allow them to combat real monsters that are running loose. Yeah. So there's werewolves and vampires.
Sure.
I think they said rat men.
Sure.
It made me think it was an alternate timeline. So instead of the rat plagues, they have actual rat men. Anyway, I was it's about time that the plague doctors had their own comic.
Yes.
And I haven't read it yet, but it sounds cool. I'm going to give it a try.
Disney's Talespin. This is the latest Dynamite Disney book. I don't know if you know Talespin, but it is the characters from the Jungle Book reimagined as sort of a pulp they fly a plane. It's
there's a little.
He's a transport.
There's a little coastal town, and he's a sort of what the closest they can get to a smuggler.
Yeah, but he's a beach bum. So it's Baloo the bear who is the lead.
Beach bum is a good way to put it.
King Louis is one of his.
He runs the nightclub.
Is he the nightclub? Yeah. And then Shere Khan is the bad guy. And I don't remember exactly if he runs this rival operation.
Yeah.
But there's a femme bear who's sort of she's the
owner of the company?
She's the owner of the company. She's the straight-laced one while he's the wild guy.
Yep.
He's got a nephew maybe, or maybe it's her son. There's a mechanic. It's a fun setup.
And so I read this not having really watched that, although I always thought it was kind of a neat premise.
Yeah.
It was kind of like Disney does pulp adventure.
Yeah.
And
it's got a great intro sequence.
Yeah, I rewatched that a few weeks ago.
You know what's funny? I need to rewatch it because I can't get the song in my head because I keep thinking DuckTales.
Is it the one that's dum, bum, bum, bum?
It's a good song.
Or is that's not Darkwing Duck.
I think that's Chippendale.
Maybe I am.
You know, it's funny.
Rangers.
Disney had a really good run of Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, DuckTales. There was a lot of cool...
They were doing very good all ages adventure. Yeah. Anyway, this comic is good. There's a cool sequence in it. There's a lady in it who's one of those stunt wing walkers that they used to have back in if you see those, you've seen those old photos of aviation wing walkers.
That kind of buccaneer hyena guy.
Yep.
He was on the show.
Yeah. Definitely. I could tell these were recurring bad guys. And anyway, yeah, there's actually a cool premise to this.
Of this in a long time.
Yeah. The artwork is fantastic.
Yep.
If you've liked the series, got a kid who might like some Disney style, but with a little bit more action adventure, it's a good book.
My only gripe: no Shere Khan in the first issue.
That is true, but that's because they're holding out for the big villain reveal.
He is in a variant cover, so he'll be in there.
Okay.
We got another The What If. This is What If the Runaways Hadn't Run Away. Most notable because it is done by Rainbow Rowell, who sort of took up the mantle after Brian K. Vaughan and lesser mentioned Joss Whedon wrote the book. And really, she got these characters in a way better than his creator did.
I think so.
And so this is a story of what if the kids basically, if
they didn't run away because they stayed to fulfill their parents' wishes.
Well, it's interesting because the Pride, Alex Wilder's parents, catch on to them watching. And he's like, look, they figured it out. We need to bring them into it. And that is the big what if that happens. It's like they bring them in and explain to them who they are, all their powers, and they basically are recruited to become part of the Pride. And
I was just going to say real quick, for people who don't know Runaways that well, because it is still a bit of a niche book.
Yeah, sure.
Basically, it was some kids who found out their parents were supervillains. Yep. That their parents' annual hangout wasn't just like to, work out business deals or something.
Kind of an annual meeting.
Yeah, and that each one of them was kind of had like a different focus, a time travel,
super technology, mutants,
mystics. And each one of those kids therefore had a heritage and kind of like got something cool. Yep. Oh, you're going to get the Velociraptor because we're time travelers. You get super high tech fists that'll smash stuff. And everybody had one. And then they go on the run in the original comic.
Because they didn't want to be supervillains.
They didn't want to be supervillains.
They watched their parents sacrifice an innocent person.
Yep. So this has does imagine if they decided that, their parents are inevitably kind of going to take over, they're allied with these sort of otherworldly gods.
Yep.
They're like, well, we should, get in on it, right? Yeah. And then it sort of shows the through line of that.
Yeah.
Is there any hesitation? If so, which ones break and which ones don't?
Yep.
And their voices are on target.
Yep.
Yep.
I quite enjoyed this.
I did too. It was really good.
If you've been a fan, I recommend it.
Other single issues this week: Absolute Green Arrow and Absolute Flash, both great.
Yep.
Dark Knights of Steel 2, number 2, which is Tom Taylor's sort of Game of Thrones-ish DC.
Yep.
Superman Unlimited, which is the third part of Kingdom of Zod. Dan Slott's the guy who originated the Kryptonite Kingdom, which is at the center of this. So there's kind of some notable stuff in this one.
Yeah.
As well as Superman fully returning and everybody finding out that he's back.
Yep. He's returning with his cool beard. New
Titans this week adds Static to the cast.
Cool.
You know what? I liked this issue. I was reading through it. There was a few things that I was a little iffy on, but the art was so good.
Yeah. And
I thought the art was fantastic. But it's essentially Static touring the Titans Tower and seeing what the current state of the art is and finding out that even though Superboy is was it Jonathan
Superboy Prime and Jonathan Kent.
Jonathan Kent is touring him, and he's like, oh, you're gonna love it here. It's gonna be great. And what he says instead sees is a little bit more infighting and some of that sort of team dynamic stuff going on. But it's fun to go along on the tour with him and see the sort of the highs and lows of the team, with very good artwork.
Lobo versus the Tooth Fairy is exactly what it sounds like.
Yep.
Avengers Armageddon number 3 continues the there's sort of the guy who is the lost Captain America, has sort of sentry level powers and is doing the Superman Quest for Peace thing.
Which is to say, destroy all
the nuclear weapons
like that,
and people are not thrilled about it.
And superheroes are fracturing.
Yeah. Inglorious X-Force continues to be really good. I really like this X-Force series.
Yep. Once or twice I've missed an issue, and so I'm a little, big picture-wise, it's a little hazy. But I did read this issue, and I was like, man, there's a bunch of good stuff in here.
Yep.
I actually think I feel like Tim Seeley has, a future in doing more X-books.
Yeah.
Or I kind of hope he does.
Yeah, agreed. Captain Marvel Dark Past wraps up the Paul Jenkins Captain Marvel story.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
It's good. I liked it. I wound up liking this.
This is a flashback to what era for Carol?
So it's a flashback to sort of her Miss Marvel era, but also this is it's set in the modern day, but it ties into a case she worked when she was Miss Marvel.
Okay, so closer to the early years.
Yeah. Daredevil number 5 continues Stephanie Phillips and Lee Garbutt's just super popular Daredevil run.
Yep, I got to read that issue. It's one I
there's
just
some big
missed
stuff.
this week.
It was good.
Okay. I assume that most comics kind of have an eye towards the trade paperback, and issue 5 or 6 of a new series is going to have some big stuff going down.
Yep.
So
Battle Beast number 12. This is Battle Beast thrown down with Conquest for an entire issue.
If you like blood,
yeah, it's a big blood-soaked combat issue. Spider-Man Brand New Day. Oh, that is this week. This is the one I mentioned earlier. There's a Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is Mr. Negative has got the Punisher on his side, and Spidey has to deal with that. There was some fun guest stars in this one. Punisher vs. Spider-Man number 2. I talked about that one as well. This is Dan Abnett's sort of early days of Punisher and Spider-Man.
Yep.
And it has, similar to what the movie does, a little bit of like Punisher and Spidey trying to figure out if they can work together.
Yep.
Defenders of Light and Dark, the Queen in Black story, which is like one team is Beta Ray Bill, Photon, Sunfire, and Dagger. The other one is Iron Man, Anti-Venom, Cable, Darkstar, and Cloak. This feels like an RPG session where GM's like, who do you want to play? All right, that's your team.
I have questions for the guy who wants to be Anti-Venom.
Yeah, that's fair. And then Queen of Black number 3, which now that it was delayed start, but is now rolling right along.
Yep.
This is very much a continuation of what Al Ewing was doing in Venom. And I think
Anti-Venom has a cool costume.
He does. And he's playing.
Don't hate.
He's Flash Thompson.
I know. I'm just saying.
Nick's like, once a bully, always a bully. I hope he dies.
And then Last Starfighter number 2 is also this week.
Oh, dang. I realize there's some stuff I need to still catch this week.
Anything else in the single issues I missed?
I think Dave has one.
I just wanted to mention this week's Batman Superman World's Finest.
Oh, yeah.
This was a fun premise, and it's an issue that stands alone or well enough that I read it, even though I'm not currently caught up on the series. The issue is titled Hell of a Game. And basically, as like, war is almost breaking out sort of between two of DC's fictional countries. It's like Bialia and one of the others. It's echoed below in a game in hell between basically the Justice League and a bunch of demons and stuff, including also a baseball player that Clark Kent, as like a young Clark Kent, admired when he was a kid and had all his card and everything, who is now in hell for like gambling and generally being a sort of a...
This is like Field of Dreams in Hell?
Yes, Field of Dreams in Hell. And Superman is like trying to get this guy to like maybe find out that he's doesn't deserve to be in hell. But meanwhile, like where they would normally on the a page or two in, they would show you the team lineup because it's Justice League Unlimited. This is Batman Superman, but the team lineup page instead shows their field placements in the game. So you got Plastic Man playing center field, Flash right field, Superman left field. I mean, this is a pretty powerhouse team, but you'll be shocked to learn that hell cheats. Anyway, it is a fun issue.
Who's the pitcher?
Let's see. Batman's catcher, Black Lightning is a pitcher. At least starting pitcher, yeah.
That's fun.
They have some relief pitchers in there that include Zatanna, Metamorpho, Big Barda, and Iron. Is that John Henry's kid?
Yes.
Iron?
Yeah.
Or it could be the Metalman Iron.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's probably, but I'm not sure because it's... if you bring in the Justice League, you can potentially... It's Justice League Unlimited right now, so it's a huge variety. Anyway, I enjoyed it. It's a standalone issue, so if you just want to see some superheroes playing baseball against demons, this is the one to read.
Graphic novels for this week and last week. Art of Star Wars: A New Hope, the manga volume. It's the big oversized. These are beautiful. It is not just an art of book; it has the entire manga in there.
Yeah. And I have for like 20 years plus, I have talked about this manga as like a little secret favorite of mine. It's such a good. It's the closest adaptation I've ever seen in comics because it is almost like uses all the dialogue from it, but it's still imagined in a sort of anime manga visual style, and it looks really cool.
The second volume of Assorted Crisis Events, Deniz Camp's story of different timelines crashing into each other. I had a chance to reread the first volume on vacation, and it's really good. It's interesting. Everyone is very much an anthology. Like every issue is a different kind of crisis kind of thing.
I know that it is one of the kind of the biggest buzz books of the last couple of years.
Yep. We got 2 Marvel Premiere editions. Avengers Secret Wars, which is the Secret Wars that Jonathan Hickman did. This is
the premier editions are the $15
yes.
ones, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is very much what the movie is going to be based on when they get to it. It's going to be more the Hickman incursion patchwork planet than I think
than the 80s Secret
than the 80s
Wars.
one. And also Time Runs Out, which was the Incursions Avengers stuff, which is, again, going to play pretty heavily into Doomsday, it looks like. Batman and Son, the DC Compact Edition, that's Grant Morrison stuff.
Intro to Damien.
Damien.
Yeah, really good. Damien at his little shittiest.
Yes. The complete Gail Simone Red Sonja omnibus.
Oh, nice.
It's a big collection of her stuff.
I kind of had forgotten she'd written enough to make an omnibus.
Now, this omnibus is not a hardcover omnibus. This is more like the compendium trades.
Okay, but it's big.
Yeah. Critical Role, the Mighty Nein Origins omnibus. Again, not a hardcover, but a big collection of all their Origins trades.
Yeah.
DC Finest Events, Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2, which is all the tie-ins and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
DC KO, Justice League Unlimited. This is the Justice League Unlimited that was coming out during DC KO. This had them... Is that them recruiting the villains, or was that after KO?
I think
this was they had the team going
versions.
into hell or something,
yeah,
right?
it was like the alternate timeline versions of various...
Man, Mark Waid likes to send heroes into hell.
It's true.
It does.
Yeah, alternate timeline versions.
Yep.
That's right.
That was a good storyline.
Yeah.
It was.
The third volume of Exquisite Corpses, the sort of battle royale in a small town.
Between like super rich families and their over-the-top serial killers
assassins,
that work for them. Yeah.
I also read the first 2 volumes of that on vacation and was reminded how good it is. Looking forward to catching up to this one.
With 3 volumes out, I need to catch up.
It's really good.
Do you think you're going to become a serial killer, Randy?
No, I will probably, though, I will become one of the ruling families of the United States.
Oh, well, that's probably a good idea, too.
Yeah, I'd rather do that. Feral Volume 5, this is the cat zombie thing from Tony Fleeks.
Yep. Wow.
This keeps going.
Volume 5.
Yep. I believe this is where the dogs of...
From Stray Dogs or whatever it was, yeah. Yep. Yeah, so he did a crossover with his other book.
There is a Ultimate Fan Edition Little Golden Book of K-Pop Demon Hunters.
Sorry, what did you just say? That was a lot of words.
Ultimate Fan Edition Little Golden Book.
Okay.
So it's a big edition of all the K-pop.
It just compiles several of the the K-pop Demon Hunters one they did. That's cool. There is finally now like a decent amount of K-pop Demon Hunters stuff.
There's a few things,
for the folks and kids who would like it.
We've got Night City. That's Knight. This is another Matt Kent book.
With Matt Kent.
Oh, yeah. Is David Lapham on that one?
I think so.
Okay. But it was a superhero riff.
Yep.
I've liked all his stuff, so I probably want to check this one out. A hardcover comic adaptation of Macbeth.
Yes. I flipped through this, and it looked really good. It kind of had a slightly artsy style, so sort of a painty, artsy style that looked really cool. It reminded me of like when you see like illuminated manuscripts from monks and stuff in the past. It was kind of like it was drawn to look like that, or like stained glass medieval stuff. Yeah, it was very cool looking.
We've got the Thing on the Doorstep trade, which is the image collection of an adaptation of a Lovecraft story. Voyeur, which is the second or third of the Ignition Press. We talked about them a little bit last week with the Murder Podcast. This is their new trade of like. It's sort of a erotic thriller. Oh, right. I do remember. Yeah. You know what? I read a few issues of this, and I remember I liked it. It's good. It's got good art. It's a good concept. I remember that it had to do with surveillance, and it felt like that movie Sliver, but like better. Yes. Yeah. I do want to read this now that it's complete. I liked what I read of it. Yeah. From last week, Batman by Tom King, Book 3, which I think is maybe not all. I think there'll be a 4th book, but it's a big chunk of his run. Right. Batman Detective Comics Volume 3, The Courage That Kills. That's Tom Taylor's 3rd story. Yeah. This has been really good. I really love it. Yeah. Tom Taylor's been writing an exceptional Detective Comics. DCKO Superman. This is the Superman stuff that was running during DCKO, which has Superman and Booster going to the future, I think, right? Isn't this was them fighting against the Dark Legion. Oh, okay. I think that's all the stories. And this is really good stuff. This is where Superboy Prime shows up. Yes. And this will lead into the Legion book, I think, to some extent. Makes some sense. Death Fight Forever, which is images sort of like Street Fighter, Fight City, kind of all those things. An homage to the beat-em-ups of old. Murder Podcast, which I mentioned earlier. Yep. Sunspot Volume 4 New Edition, the digest of Sunstone. Sunstone. Not the Brazilian New Mutant, but the erotic thriller. But the sexy that's not even a thriller. The sexy BDSM book. Yeah. Drama, melodrama, Yep. Superman Unlimited Volume 2, which gets a trade and a hardcover. You can choose which format you want. This is Dan Slott's Really good Superman book. I've liked this a lot.
Yep. This is the one that had things like a new reporter at the Daily Planet from Gorilla City.
Yep.
Lois Lane running the Daily Planet.
Yep.
And
Kryptonite Kingdom.
A what is it? A kryptonite meteor that crashed basically in South America and becomes a major source of commerce and tech and world destabilization. In South America. And a bunch of well-written Superman adventures. Yep. It's really good.
TMNT Battle Nexus, which is a fight book with all the TMNT characters.
It's like from different eras even, I think.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Ultimates by Deniz Camp Volume 4. This is the finale of the Ultimates. And Warhammer Age of Sigmar Ultimate Guide, which is a big oversized, their fantasy.
Right. The coffee table book that's essentially kind of like an encyclopedia, but instead of illustrations for all the different things, it has these amazing, amazing photos of like fully painted miniatures by like the very peak Games Workshop, White Dwarf, artists on these. Some of them are like so elaborate. I'm like, am I looking at a painting? But I'm like, no, this is actually something somebody did on a miniature. And they're super stunning. But yeah, if you just kind of want to get into the lore of it or just, immerse yourself in that, these are super good. We've got the 40K one already, and this is the Age of Sigmar.
All right, we're going to take a break, and then we're coming back and talk about Lanterns and some trailers and some other stuff. All right, so spoiler warning for Lanterns, the first episode from HBO. We're going to talk about it. We'll probably spoil some stuff.
It does have some sort of notable twists and turns.
Especially a big twist at the end that we will talk about.
So yeah, if you're thinking about watching it, go ahead and watch it because we all recommend it.
Yes, it's great.
It's really good. So it's got some cool surprises and stuff. But beyond this point, we're in spoiler territory.
Yep. So let's talk about Lanterns. I think there were 3 trailers altogether.
Yes, I think that's right. Because I think there were 2 and I was just like,
Yeah.
And then the third one hit and I was like, okay, I needed to see that they were at least embracing some of the cosmology and lore of Green Lanterns. I needed to see because in the third one you glimpse Sinestro. They, I don't want to quite say it because I don't want to spoil anything, but they name drop a sort of a Green Lantern thread in it.
Yeah.
And just in general, you saw a little bit more ring slinging and stuff like that.
Yeah. But I think I was not, I think you were even a little more, and I was like, I'm going to watch it, but I'm not expecting much out of it. The trailers weren't doing much for me, even the third one. And I was like, this is not what I want from Green Lantern. And as it turns out, I really liked it.
Yep. One of the things, before we talk about it specifically is, to some degree, I've never seen my platonic ideal of Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Jeff Johns got close in some of the stuff, but even he wasn't quite there. I was telling Nick earlier, I think my favorite overall version of Green Lantern might be the Jeff Johns influenced Green Lantern animated series that Bruce Timm did 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That it was the CG one. I only did 2 seasons, but I really liked it. And I've liked other Green Lantern stuff over the years, but there's no version I'm so wed to that I'm like, if they diverge from this, I ain't on board.
Yeah, I mean, Johns' was close for me. That was kind of when he restarted with Rebirth.
Yeah.
And...
but you know what's funny, though? Even there, I felt like Hal still felt out of place. He still felt like an anachronism.
Yeah.
It's too rooted in the Cold War. He was the flyboy jockey stereotype that kind of was the right stuff and stuff like that from the 50s and 60s had kind of done. And Tom Cruise had done the 80s version with Top Gun. But the 80s are even a long ways back. Yeah. And I was finding him in the comics, he kind of tended to come across as just arrogant and douchey instead of cool.
So I came in on the Gerard Jones Hal Jordan, who was kind of a older guy, the gray temples.
Right, that was a very distinct time when they sort of let him age up a little bit.
I really liked that run and was a fan of Hal as a result. That was sort of my Hal.
And so you were coming in when they were sort of acknowledging Hal as a somewhat more flawed person.
Right, but there was no Kyle Rayner yet.
Right.
And so I was like, Hal was my Green Lantern. I liked him. And so I have a fondness for Hal.
Yep.
But after they brought him back, and even though I wasn't a fan of Kyle Rayner for most of the time, I realized, oh no, Kyle Rayner's a better Green Lantern.
Right.
And so I was like, I don't necessarily need Hal, but this version of Hal where they cast Kyle Chandler as a grumpy old man.
Yep.
That was the one part for all the trailers. I like this.
Yeah.
And it turns out that this is they kept saying this is like True Detective, because HBO, they're like, this is True Detective meets Green Lantern. I don't think that's true. This, to me, reads like 48 Hours meets Men in Black.
And 48 Hours, for people who don't know, was an 80s action movie.
Yes.
Or a cop and criminal team-up movie.
But also, if you want to be even more obscure, it reminds me of Midnight Run.
Yeah.
Like, this is
basically it has elements of the sort of lost genre of the old buddy action movie.
Yes.
Where you get a couple of people who really don't like each other.
Yeah.
And then they slowly kind of either become friends or learn to tolerate each other.
So what I thought was really interesting, the Aaron Pierce plays Jon Stewart.
Yes.
And I thought the way they did this was really interesting because John and Hal legitimately do not like each other.
Yes.
But they both have a respect for each other that kind of grows as time goes on.
Yeah.
And I think that was really interesting to watch.
I was getting curious about the show because I watched their little 5-minute early release just a few days before it came out.
Yep.
James Gunn posted and he's like, hey, if you want to watch the opening 5, here it is. And it's a pretty interesting scene. It shows in what we now know will be sort of the format for the show. There's going to be flashbacks to mid-90s.
Yep.
Basically 1996 when he was a kid.
He was a kid.
Like 10 or 12.
With his messed up dad shooting apples off his head.
Yep, we'll come back to that in a second. Another period in 2016 when he was training under Hal. And then major stuff in 2026 when it seems like he is going to take on the role. The Green Lantern role, probably. But yeah, this opening sequence is a kind of a weird grabber. It shows young Jon Stewart.
Yep.
He's at home with his friends, siblings. I forget who they all were.
The siblings. They're waiting for their dad to come home, and they're watching TV, which they're clearly not supposed to be able to. They're not supposed to do.
Right.
And his siblings are like, "Turn it off. We're going to get in trouble." And he's watching what seems to be the first interview.
It is 60 minutes specifically.
Yes.
It's an interview with Hal Jordan, with Green Lantern, in which he reveals he's like, "Yes, I am Hal Jordan," and clearly becomes a public name, and is kind of doing this kind of very smart kind of interview in a way where the interviewer is like, how did you get chosen to be like this, join this space law enforcement? And he's like, well, they just have one question for you. Are you afraid? And she's like, and you said no. And he's like, I said no.
Yeah.
And, so it's this, you can see young Jon Stewart imprinting on this, wow. But yeah, then they're like, Dad's coming, and they're like, they all turn off. They want him to turn off the TV, and he's so taken with it that he doesn't want to. He does it the second before his dad gets in. Dad comes in, everybody kind of stands almost at attention, military dad, and he's wearing his fatigues and stuff like that, and he clearly has sussed it out. He saw the TV light flickering, whatever, and he's like. He asks him what his name was, and then John is like, Hal, something or another. And he's like, okay, come outside. And he does this thing. He's he stands him up against a tool shed or something like that, which clearly has bullet holes from past versions of this on it. Has him put an apple on his head, and he shoots the apple over his head. And before he does it, he's doesn't he say are you afraid or something like that? Which I'm still trying to quite puzzle out this scene and wonder if they'll. We think there are going to be more flashbacks to this era, but we don't know for sure yet.
Yeah, for sure they will. We've seen
Randy is sure, but
I'm not 100%.
Nick isn't 100% sure.
But they showed more, didn't they?
They just showed the 2016.
I'm 100% sure.
But what's weird is it's clear that it was almost like he was conditioning his kid to become a Green Lantern, but we don't know how he would.
Green Lanterns were new enough. I can't have been doing that.
He could have if he knew how.
I guess.
There could be some secrets to be
military
revealed.
Thing, that's possible.
But the weird thing is, after he does this sort of horrific thing and, shoots a gun at his kid's head and shoots the apple safely,
yep.
They, hug afterwards, and he's like, let's go get something to eat. And it's a bonding thing, and you're like, oh, Jon Stewart may have some rough stuff.
Jon Stewart's messed up. We know this for sure.
It's a fucked up family.
Yeah.
But he did go on to, the comics, become a Marine sniper, and he's kind of the straight arrow.
Yep.
And Hal is an 80s Maverick cop.
Yep.
Or Maverick in Top Gun.
This takes place in 3 eras.
Yeah.
It's the 1996, 2016, and then 2026.
Yep.
And most of it this time we're in 2016.
Yes.
And it is when Hal and John...
They're a few months into training.
Yeah, and John has not even used the ring yet because Hal won't let him.
Yep. Hal does a really
very memorable scene. He lets him use it.
He does a messed up thing where he lets him wear it for the first time.
Yes. And then Hal just kind of he keeps ditching John. He'll tell him something like, meet me up at the taco stand at the road, or he'll say the name of some town and then vanish, and just kind of keeps expecting John to find him, or maybe he doesn't even want him to.
Right.
But John keeps finding him.
Right.
And they are working together as cops investigating. There's a murder that happens in a small town in Nebraska that happens at a football game.
Yes.
It's like a shooting.
It's like a shooting, yeah.
Shooting.
And some of the shooters were aliens. They know this, but nobody else does. The sheriff who's there, played by Kelly MacDonald, who's fantastic, basically is like trying to get them to leave her alone.
Yeah.
But Hal is like, no, it's aliens. This is our jurisdiction.
We should say they know this, but we, the audience, don't know. We're like, well, probably so.
We don't see them,
but we don't see them,
yep.
And they kind of really hold out on this until towards the end.
Yeah.
And even then, there's mysteries to like, wait, what exactly is going on?
There's Garrett Dillahunt plays the head of sort of a militia that seems to be sort of kind of anti-alien racists.
Yep. They sound like people talking about a border wall.
Yep.
But they're worried about
for
aliens.
Space. Yep. Yeah. And he turns out to have some ties to the sheriff, which I thought was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There's also there's a great bit with Hal and John at a bar.
Yes.
Where Hal comes up with a plan to get to talk to this alien prisoner.
Yep.
That goes awry.
Yep. And you can see how like John is like it's almost like his military sort of training and his straight arrowedness. It's almost like you don't question a commanding officer.
Yeah.
Is sort of the vibe. So he's never gonna tell Hal like to his face. He's like I think this is a bad idea, or I think you're a fuck up.
He does indicate that though.
But he indicates it. Yeah. And so
because he's been chosen for this position,
right?
Yeah. The Guardians, they don't shy away from name dropping the Guardians or anything like that.
Yeah. But it is like a low power thing. Like you're not going to see tons and tons of like ring slinging, lots of constructs. There's a few.
Well, here's the thing.
We haven't gotten to it yet.
They mention the Guardians, and he talks about the big blue bastards or whatever. Yeah. But we don't see any of them. They talk about Aben Sur. Mm-hmm. He talks John through his origin of like how he got the ring, but they don't show us any of it.
And you know what? Here's the thing.
And it really works.
There could have been a way that like, either like, where that would just feel like, oh, they just didn't have the budget for it or whatever. But the reason it worked is because this actually has like pretty strong writing on it.
Yeah, it does.
And so almost every scene in it is intriguing.
Yeah.
It's not only the writing, is that Kyle Chandler's delivery of that story sells it.
Right.
Absolutely.
So and then what his reminiscence of it is very interesting, the way he says it.
Yeah.
It almost reminded me in a weird way of how in the Odyssey movie recently, they leaned into the idea of the spoken word storytelling.
Yeah.
So that almost every sequence in it is sort of introduced by somebody else remembering it.
Yeah.
And so this is how he remembers it, what was important about it, and really something big, which is he thinks that Aben Sur didn't like crash land where he did by accident.
Yeah.
And like you're like, oh, okay. So there's like a sense that they're kind of doing some things different in this show.
Yeah.
It's not gonna they want to surprise you with it. And in some ways it builds up to a cop trope that we've seen like a thousand times, which is an interrogation sequence.
So before we get to that,
yeah,
I do want to mention one of the things about the writing and the performance.
Yep.
There's a couple notable moments. One is when Hal's at the taco stand.
Yes.
And everybody's like stopping him for photos and autographs and stuff. They did a really good job of him as like, the world sees him as this superhero who's been acting for like 30 years now.
Right.
No, 20 years.
20 years.
And like, he is beloved. Like kids, he autographs stuff for kids. He gets pictures.
Yep.
And
people ask him why he's not wearing the uniform.
And
anymore.
someone asked him why he's not wearing the uniform. And it's one of the best metaphors. I usually am like, just give me a costume. But the reason they give us for why he doesn't wear the costume is such a good piece of writing.
Yeah.
Perfectly delivered. I was like, okay, yeah, I buy that. I understand why he wouldn't bother with the costume anymore.
In a way, because the Superman movie showed us these guys are not afraid to do big superheroes.
Yeah.
I think that allows for you to do something that's like an unusual Green Lantern thing where, yeah, there's going to be some ring slinging at times, but this is largely, he kind of thinks kind of more like a cop.
Yeah.
It's like a cop show.
And he uses the ring to make a $20 bill for the jukebox.
Yep.
He uses the ring to make a bottle opener.
Yep.
And he used the ring in one other notable place, which is during the interrogation, which Dave was building up to.
Yeah. And the interrogation is something I wouldn't want to spoil because it's like, you want to be there for it. But let me just say, like, it made the interrogation super interesting.
It's really good.
It's like a riveting final sequence where you're kind of like, wait, how exactly is this going to play out?
Well, it has that bit of like when there's a great interrogation, like the box episode of The Homicide or something like that, where the guy seems so smooth or just seems like that it's not going to break.
Yeah.
And then when he does the way that he does, where it's like his whole bit of like, and I don't want to give away all of it, but he's like, let me say hypothetically that I'm not from this smelly, salty ball. Yeah. And it was like, it tells you immediately like, oh, you've got him. Also, they talked about this in the behind the scenes, which is at the end, which I recommend watching, by the way.
That's good.
They talk about we had to have the oath in the first episode. And like, how do we get it in there?
It comes up in a cool way.
And the way it comes in and the way it shows that Hal, for all his cynicism, still has a sincerity. Like, the oath is sacred to him.
Right.
And to have it thrown at him that way was really, really effective. I thought that was really good. And then there's the reason we're in 2026 is revealed at the very end of the episode. I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but should we say it? I mean, it's a big thing.
I mean, we've told people we're spoiling stuff.
That's true.
That's a fairly big
It's out there.
Okay,
kind
so we can
of
talk
as a big
about it.
Spoiler.
So they jump forward 10 years in time, and a now goateed older John rolls back into Nebraska, talks to the sheriff that he's now like hugs and is friends with.
Yep.
And they go out to the football field and they find a frozen, apparently dead Hal Jordan, who does not have a ring. And John doesn't have the ring.
I think John has a ring.
He doesn't have one on him at that point.
Yeah, but I think he has a ring at this point.
Maybe.
Because
see.
we know God, there's not just one ring.
Okay.
I thought I had heard that James Gunn said that in like 2026 that Guy had it.
Because in the behind the scenes, they say Hal doesn't have the ring, John doesn't have the ring. Where's the ring?
Oh.
In the behind the scenes, they straight up said that.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
They straight up said that.
Well, I mean, Guy
has the ring.
Well, it kind
has
of
a ring.
Makes sense for the kind of lower key version that they're doing, at least in this first season, if he's like got to do some crime investigating where he doesn't have the ring's defenses.
Yeah. Now, there's two possible interpretations. One is that the bad guys have the ring.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's even possible. The rings don't stay with people they're not worthy of.
Right.
So I have a feeling that they mean Guy has the only ring, because in the comics, when Hal lost the ring for whatever reason, I don't remember exactly
way back when.
It was supposed to go to Guy, but
right.
Guy was in a coma, and so it went to John.
Right. And by the way, that whole thing with Guy was a retcon.
Yes.
They were just saying like he actually would have gone to it, but John was literally physically closer to having this or to whoever. So
I like the idea that in this universe that it was the reverse. John wasn't close enough, and so it went to Guy.
Yeah. They said something interesting in here, which is there's a great sequence that we haven't mentioned yet where when John does have the ring, he activates like a holographic version of Hal.
Yes.
That shows you kind of like, in a way, like sort of what a little bit of a beach bum detective Hal is, running on instincts, which are good.
But a younger, not quite as jaded Hal.
Yeah. And what he does is, it turns out like Green Lanterns are supposed to like essentially upload your consciousness on the regular into your ring, so that if there's an issue that, or like maybe it's for investigation.
So if you die,
they'll pull out your AI version.
Yeah.
And John finds out that Hal last backed us up a decade ago.
Yes.
So this is like a somewhat more earnest and nicer version of him, a little bit less jaded.
Yep.
What she dubs the hologram.
The hologram. Great.
It's great because Hal himself hears about this later, the real Hal. Yeah. And he's like, he's like, yeah, it's clever. It's kind of clever, but also kind of a little bit like, whatever.
I was surprised and pleased at how funny this is.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of...
The back and forth between Hal and John is very often very funny.
John's slow simmer, you piss me off thing is great. When Hal tells him, he's like, I'm going to try something to land myself in jail. Yep. He's like, it's going to look like I'm getting my ass kicked. He's like, but don't worry about it. And John's like, that's fine.
Yeah. He's like, you're going to want to jump in. Don't. And he's like, okay.
So good. Well, what I was going to say, though, about the hologram is that he says... when he finds out John is being trained by him, he's like, Lanterns don't train the people like from their own sector or something like that, which I thought was an interesting little rule that they seem to have going on in this setting.
We know Damon Lindelof did the fantastic Watchmen series.
Yep.
And Lindelof is a comics nerd and a TV guy, and he definitely knows how to sort of take things
synthesize it.
Yeah, that sort of seem like they should have been there but aren't.
Yeah.
So the idea that Hal is the first human Green Lantern, and that's a big deal, and maybe that was important.
Yeah.
Like, they've never really touched on that as much in the comics.
Right.
Is there a first Green Lantern because superheroes are from Earth?
Right.
But the idea that, like, there maybe was a sinister motive to making a Green Lantern from Earth. The idea that you don't train your replacement from the same sector.
Yep.
Some of the other notions, the hologram.
They mention Earth being, and this sometimes comes up in the comic, basically like a sort of backwater.
Yes, yeah.
But if the notion is that, like, oh, well, what if, and, like, we already know they sort of probably are violating some rules by having, like, essentially there's no less than 2 other humans who will have been Green Lanterns at this point, in addition to Hal. And I'm like, is somebody trying to, like, impugn the integrity of the Guardians by like, letting this happen off in a backwater, and then they can, like, in the Galactic Council or something like that, they're going to be like, they can't even keep track of their own people. Look at what's going on.
Yep.
Are these the people you want running your space cops? We don't know. We have no idea, but, like, something like that could be percolating. Yep. There may be, there may well be reasoning for these things happening.
Yep.
For Ab and Sur's crash. But anyway, there's a lot to intrigue in this first episode. It's got good writing, really strong acting from everybody. It's, like you said, darkly. There's some funny stuff in it.
It's surprisingly fun. Yeah.
So I'm, like, way ready for episode 2.
Yeah,
I did not expect to be. I was like, I just don't think this is going to be the tone. And I was like, they may have picked a tone I didn't know I needed.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Yeah. I did not expect to like this as much as I did. All right, let's talk about the trailers that dropped from D23.
What is D23?
Disney.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know why 23 comes from. I don't know where it's their Comic-Con essentially.
23 and
me. It's their basically upfronts.
They showed teasers or not teasers, but like they revealed they're doing Zootopia 3 and Frozen 3 and all that kind of stuff
to kind of hype people on the notion that Disney is doing a bunch of stuff.
Yep. Right. But what we're interested in is the Marvel and Star Wars side of things.
Sure. Yep.
So we watched the trailer for Ahsoka Season 2. I was not super into Ahsoka, even though I loved Rebels, and it was the continuation of Rebels.
I think there were good moments in the series, but overall it was kind of bland.
This second season, I see all the Rebels characters.
Yep.
It looks like there's going to be a lot more starfights and less zombie stormtroopers and isolated planets.
Yep.
But this looks more like what I wanted. It's more of Thrawn like coming back and doing his Heir to the Empire thing.
Were there zombie stormtroopers in the first one?
Yeah, the Force Witches made zombie stormtroopers.
Oh. Like, that almost sounds good because there was, like, I never got around to it, that reading that novel that was, like, Death Troopers or something like that.
It sounds good, but it was not good.
Yeah, but this was not literally like that. It's funny because I watched the first season, I disliked it so much that I stopped watching it midway through, and I just kind of
That's why you never got to the zombie stormtroopers.
Fast-forwarded through to just see, like, sort of a highlight reel.
It wasn't great. It was really disappointing.
I mean, I think based on the trailer, we are still going to get some of that Mindscape stuff with Ahsoka and Hayden Christensen.
The idea of her master, who before he became Darth Vader, sort of mentoring her, I kind of like that idea.
Oh, wait, this is set, though, after that, right?
Yes.
Like, because his Force Ghost went back to nice Anakin.
Yes.
So this is, because she's like, Rosario Dawson is 50.
The Force Ghost is nice Anakin, but he definitely still went through his Vader phase. So he's got a little, there's some sinister, like, you don't entirely trust the advice that she's giving.
But, like, remind me, when is this set? Is this after Jedi?
It's before Jedi, right?
No.
You're right. Yeah, because Thrawn is after Jedi. Yep. So, yes.
Right. So Vader has done his turnaround, and this is a Force Ghost who's been through it, but who is redeemed.
In the timeline, this happens before the Rey stuff. Because Thrawn coming back is basically the
start of the First Order.
Post-Jedi, pre-sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks better.
The trailer looks better to me. And
looks a little more action.
Here's the thing. If there hadn't been an Ahsoka season 1 I was so disappointed in, I would have loved this trailer and been, ready for more. But they dropped the ball so badly that I'm just kind of hoping it's better.
Yeah.
So here's the disappointing thing for me is, like, I like Rosario Dawson as an actress, but, like, whenever I see her talking to, is it Hera?
Yeah.
And stuff like that, their dialogue all sounds like really boring Jedi Council dialogue because she's supposed to, like, I miss the overly energetic early days of Ahsoka, and instead she's she'll say things like, I fear that a time of conflict is coming.
Yeah.
And then, Harrow will be like, I'm afraid you're right. And I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. And Dave, you didn't watch much of Rebels, right?
No.
So the thing is, like,
it looked cool to me, but
their Ahsoka was a confident version of herself who had gone through all the Jedi stuff. And Hera was way like their versions of the live action versions of these characters are not as interesting as the animated versions were. And that should be the reverse. When you have human actors doing them, there should be more to it.
And I know that probably what this comes down to is that when they were like trying to decide, where would Ahsoka be now? 10, 20 years later, whatever it's supposed to be. And I think they just kind of maybe, at least for me, made a bad call and decided she's Zen Master. And I just...
Yeah, I don't like it either.
That's kind of boring.
Yeah.
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 For all the issues that I do think what the Acolyte had, I found their Jedis much more interesting.
It was the most interesting the Jedis have been, actually. Yeah.
And they were all flawed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was also some of them were flawed, but they were... or maybe not directly flawed, but they had interesting personalities. Yeah. They showed that they could be a variety, and they didn't all just talk in hushed tones and no contractions.
Until they killed all of them and canceled the series.
And they killed all of them and canceled the series. Too bad, though, because they had just introduced a really cool bad guy.
Yep.
What's his name from...
Manny Jacinto.
Manny Jacinto, yeah.
I would much rather have a season 2 of The Acolyte than a season 2 of Ahsoka.
Yeah.
But this is what we're getting.
And
but Dave Filoni's important, and he gets what he wants.
Sure.
He gets what he wants.
I will say, some of the action and stuff looked pretty cool in this. I saw a bunch of those, what do they call them? B-Wings?
Yeah.
Kicking some ass and stuff like that. And
the starship battles look cool.
B-Wings were a thing, the development of those in
Rebels,
right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to let y'all watch this and tell me there's almost no chance I'll watch it, but if you said it's actually really quite good, I would watch it.
No, Dave, we should watch his Rebels.
I ain't gonna watch no 5 or 6 seasons or whatever.
It's only 4 seasons, maybe 5. Anyway, I do think it's kind of a shame that Star Wars for me is a little bit of that lull again.
It is.
I'm not watching the Star Wars Visions thing, even though I'm sure it's good. I'm just not feeling it as much, and I wish I was.
That animation has more to draw me in. I just haven't sat down with it. I was thinking about it. I haven't watched the Darth Maul show.
Oh, it was good.
Yeah, I know. I didn't watch Mandalorian and Grogu.
I think I'm in the same place as y'all. And although Mandalorian and Grogu was good,
it's fine.
It was also a little bit disposable.
Yeah. That's kind of where I am on Star Wars right now. It's not bad. It's not bad stuff. It's just it's not doing it for me.
The interesting thing was you go back just 2 years though, and this is why I'm not going to count them out or anything.
Yeah.
And obviously Andor was an all-time peak for me.
Sure.
Yep. But then I also really liked
we all like Skeleton Key.
Crew.
We all like Skeleton Key way better than we thought. It was Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
So I need another thing to wow me.
They can do it. I don't think Ahsoka's going to be it.
No.
We got 2 big trailers for Marvel. One is Vision Quest, which they've decided retroactively that WandaVision, Agatha All Along, and Vision Quest are a trilogy.
I did look up.
I think that's fair to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Those are all pretty linked.
Yeah.
I did look up, and off what we were talking about, you were right, I was wrong.
Okay. I don't know what you're talking about, but I agrry.
About who that character is.
In Vision?
In Vision Quest.
The sun.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was something else that I was right about.
But I was not really looking forward to a Vision series.
I was, but only because I know Todd Stashwick is playing Paladin. So I don't care what else they do.
Was he in the trailer?
Yes, in one little bit.
Okay, man, I didn't.
And he's in the purple costume.
And I am also a fan of Paladin. For people who just real quick who don't know, Paladin is a mercenary with kind of with some heart, with a conscience, maybe.
Yep. He has a stun gun.
He has a stun gun, and he has. A suit that probably nowadays would be you'd look at it just in isolation and consider it goofy.
Yeah.
But it looked pretty dope. I always thought he looked super cool.
Yep.
And part of it was the heroes generally didn't carry guns, and he was one who did, and he was kind of an anti-hero.
He's a charming mercenary.
He had, I think, the thing with the Wasp.
The thing with the Wasp, which Black Knight did not like.
Yeah. The Black Knight's kind of more of a straight arrow, and he was a little bit of a rogue.
But Todd Stashwick, who played in
Star Trek, Picard, he played Captain something, and who was a very fun and entertaining kind of D-bag captain who, like, actually was a decent person, but, like, hilariously shut Riker and Picard down. Yeah.
It's funny because I didn't like him at first, and then I wound up loving him. Then I followed the actor, and the actor is just great.
He's awesome. He's one of those legit nerds.
He's a nerd. He plays D&D, all that stuff.
Love it. Yeah.
And so him being Paladin, he's super excited about it. And I'm like, I'm glad you guys got the right person for Paladin. Yeah. However, the show around Paladin, who is, of course, the main feature, seems to also look good.
It is a good trailer in which, let's see, Vision, who's he talking to at the very beginning?
So he's at a pub in, like, Scotland, which is where he was with Wanda in Infinity War.
Oh, right, and I know she's sort of, like, saying, like, kind of flirting with the handsome guy.
She's, like, used to come in here with that redhead. He sees their initials carved into the bar. This was during the period when the Avengers were split. And the two of them were the Romeo and Juliet of the Avengers because they were different teams, and they were getting together, and their romance sort of blossomed during that.
Right, and
I think he's kind of a piece of that person because he's no longer that person.
He is not. Yeah. He's the White Vision from WandaVision. He's the soul of Vision, sort of brought back in a different body.
Yeah,
right. And it seems like he's lost something.
Yeah.
And she says something like she's like going home with someone, or you got someone to go home to, and he says something that he's like, no, it's just me. Or whatever.
And then we see that he goes into his head, and all the various AIs of the Marvel Universe live in his head because he was created from them.
Right, and there's he actually has a home that, like, you see almost
like an English manor.
It's like an English manor, and you see it sort of being built, like, digitally.
Yeah.
Like it rebuilds every time in his head as he goes home inside his internal self.
Did you notice that the one of the avatars, the butler, is Jarvis, who
I did notice that.
Played by the guy who did it
the guy who did Jarvis, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, yes. The first of at least one more voice actor who will... someone who will play them.
But also, Friday, we know Friday's in this. Yep. I don't know if Jennifer Connelly's going to be playing her.
Right, because you see his kind of... I guess, I don't know if this is semi-inspired by the Tom King kind of weird dark suburbia.
I don't think so. This is something else, because this is all in his head. But when he's created in Age of Ultron, they mention... Or actually, I guess it's in Infinity War when they're trying to take him apart. They mentioned that he is not just the Infinity Gem, because this is Vision without the Infinity Gem. Right. That he's Ultron and Friday and Jarvis and a bit of Tony. Like, he is made up of all these things. And so...
That was already something established?
Yes.
I didn't notice
They mention it in Infinity War. They talk... There's a lot of little one-lines, because I'm so obsessed with the MCU, that have presaged... They layer so many potential things in there.
That's very cool. So we will see these characters again, but as a Vision corrects when he at some point sees Ultron in his house, he's like, human avatars only.
So we're getting a older James Spader playing a sort of a more of a mischievous, dangerous Ultron, not the sort of psychopath.
He is like a mischievous dad.
Yeah.
I still think he's going to be the big villain.
Oh, I do. I think he's the villain, yeah. I think Ultron wants to take over Vision's body because it was built for him.
Yep.
And then destroy humanity.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be wacky and fun, but genocidal.
And I think it's a great vehicle for James Spader.
Agreed. He
looks like that could be too on the nose, and that there may be something else, but...
We'll see. But
So we're also going to see an incarnation of Jarvis, or we're going to see an incarnation of... Friday.
And there's one more. There's another Edith. Yeah. There's another AI.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. That gives them some interesting stuff to work with, and like a wide variety of sort of personality types.
And then there's the potential of
Vision has a son. Yep. It's Speed.
It is.
Yeah, because Wiccan is taken control of, or they dealt with him. They dealt with Agatha all along. So Speed being taken care of here makes sense.
His life force took over somebody who drowned.
Yeah.
And I have a question, because it's been a while since I've watched, say, WandaVision and stuff like that. What is the current state for this of Vision and Scarlet Witch?
Scarlet Witch is dead.
Dead?
Yeah. She died in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. Did she die?
She is buried under Wonder Mountain.
Yeah.
She's probably not dead.
Okay.
But
for all practical purposes at the moment, she's dead.
And Vision died too. So, this Vision that's back is the one that they tried to rebuild, that Sword rebuilt as a weapon against Wanda.
Yeah. Right.
But somehow the Wanda created personality got into it. So it's like a little bit of his original soul.
Uh-huh.
So I think this is going to be about him sort of rebuilding and figuring out who he is.
And it seems like his central concern may be trying to reconnect with his son.
Yes. Yeah.
we see a glimpse of a new costume for him, and it's based off of the Daniel Acuna version, and it looks dope.
It looks good. Looks better
than
the comics.
What I like about some of these things is that the MCU, I think, has got to the point where there's like enough moving parts in it that you can kind of somewhat remix and reorganize these character stories in like ways that I think are sometimes really good. So Spider-Man is an example of recent Spider-Man where, it has connections to X-Men, which I would not have asked for, but ends up being one of their best movies because they executed it so well.
Well,
and so I am open to the vision, he doesn't this is a character I've always liked, but who I kind of hate when they rebuild him and stuff.
Yeah.
But because Paul Bettany forms the through line to it, and he's so good, this looks like it could be another story where I'm not going to know what exactly is going to happen.
Yes.
There's going to be unusual dynamics, like essentially this weird virtual robot household. And I was like, I won't know where it's going, but it looks good.
Yeah, it has that kind of, you can't predict it, like what WandaVision had.
Yeah. Even when I was watching like Wonder Man, which was like their own take on it, but still had a lot of the things I liked, I was like, I don't know where they want to end up with this. I just know that it's well done.
Wonder Man was so good.
I want to say, I am one of the few people, I liked the flood of Marvel we were getting. I know everybody else blames it for what happened, that like Marvel put out too much. I liked having 3 or 4 shows a year and 3 or 4 movies a year. And so I feel like I'm starving for scraps, getting 2 movies in 1 show.
Yeah.
But I will take it. And if the shows are the stuff that worked for them, like the WandaVision trilogy and Avengers and that kind of thing, if they needed to retreat back to safety a little bit, I understand that. I am annoyed that we aren't getting a West Coast Avengers movie with Wonder Man, She-Hulk, all the people, Moon Knight, all the people they've abandoned on this path. Their Black Knight that they abandoned from Eternals. Like, I would love if they could pick up all those pieces and throw them into a West Coast Avengers movie or something.
Yeah, I do think they could. I think, by the way, Moon Knight's kind of over-the-top dark hero thing.
Yeah.
Like, if he surprised somebody in a movie and came in, you know how, like, good the sequence was with, say, Falcon and Ant-Man?
Yeah.
Like, that's such a good sequence. Yep. I'm like, if Moon Knight came in and just terrorized the shit out of somebody in some Spider-Man movie or whatever, that would be amazing, and people would be like, "Oh yeah, we like Moon Knight."
Yep.
I don't want She-Hulk to be left on the cutting room
floor. Me neither. I really want to see Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk again, and also She-Hulk is such a good character. To just abandon her would really be a shame.
When I think Marvel, hopefully knows and like remembers, even though fans are fickle and they maybe made some concessions to fans that they shouldn't have at times.
They did,
but. When you do something like when you dropped Yelena into Spider-Man, all you need is a good scene or two, and people will get back on board these characters.
Yep.
The audiences are fickle, but they can be won back easily. You kind of a little fan service sometimes, or like just figure out what would be cool to do with them, and you can turn people around.
My hope is that because Hollywood loves money, they got scared because Shang-Chi and all those things didn't quite work for them.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we need to pull back. But now that Spider-Man...
they were also like, oh, there's a huge rising tide of racism and sexism because of Trump.
I don't know how much that had to do with anything.
I have a feeling after Doomsday, Shang-Chi is going to get a resurgence.
So here's what I want. That's the point I was building to.
Okay.
Spider-Man Brand New Day has now made $2 billion.
Right.
And I believe based on Doomsday, which we're going to talk about in a second, Doomsday is probably going to be wildly successful.
Yeah.
And they will have had 2 giant hits, and they will be a little more of the Marvel's on top, can do whatever they want. Here's a raccoon with a gun.
Yeah.
That's all I want is them to get back to that confidence of, hey, let's throw a bunch of stuff out and see what works. And I do think you're right, Nick. I think if Shang-Chi works in the movie, which I bet he will. Maybe we'll get a Shang-Chi too, because Daniel Destin Cretton really wanted to do it. He can probably write his own ticket now that he's done Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah. And he killed it on Spider-Man. Also,
Shang-Chi's better than people give it credit for.
I agree.
I think it's got a weak end.
It has a weak third act, but so does Black Panther.
Yeah.
Which is a great movie. Like Marvel always has a weak third act. It's okay.
But the character work that was done in Shang-Chi was great.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got a ton of great scenes in it and great characters that deserve to live on.
I wanted more of that, and I hope we get more besides just his appearance in Doomsday.
Agreed.
Anyway.
Speaking of Doomsday.
Yes. We got the Avengers Doomsday thing that they showed at Comic-Con?
No, it was D23.
Oh, was this D23?
Yeah, it was D23.
Because there was I think this might have also been in Comic-Con because they showed it to us, but they didn't show it to us. They just showed it to the people there. So I'd heard people talking about it, but I didn't know if we were going to see it. And I'm glad we did.
But it like got officially released, right? It's not. We're not watching.
No, it's officially released. Yeah. This is
like a sizzle reel?
It's the Doom. This is the Robert Downey Jr. is Doom. We promise. And I have a couple friends who are skeptical, and I think they're ridiculously skeptical because at this point I'm like, that looks like Doom to me.
Yeah, I definitely count myself among the skeptics in general, but his they because I was like, I feel like, are they trying to do something with Doom where he is like evil Tony, or is something like, I was not sure if there was a kind of a trick to it.
Definitely does not look like
Instead, it looks like, at least in this, like where you actually hear him doing the voice.
Yeah.
And his voice has like, it is like Eastern European, does not sound like Robert Downey.
Nope.
But you could kind of like, yeah, okay, that's the same actor.
Yep.
But like so different sounding that it's changes. And that combined with, like what I knew, we talked about this a week or two back, of him in, say, Oppenheimer and how much he disappeared into that role, a little bit of makeup and like some amazing acting.
Yeah.
I'm like, it looks like he is really doing it.
I think, and this is sort of an unforced error, but see, Robert Downey Jr. did such a great job being Tony Stark that people in the Marvel context think he could only be Tony Stark. But if you know if you see other stuff he's done, you're like, he can do more than Tony Stark. He's a great actor.
But I do think fans can be somewhat forgiven for thinking it's a weird call.
I understand. But also, it wasn't such a weird call because if they're like, all the stuff we tried didn't work. Let's go back to basics. What could be more back to basics than bringing back the trilogy of actors who made Avengers work for us? Yeah. And we don't want him to play Iron Man again. What could he do? Oh, let's make him Dr. Doom. I understand how they got there, even though it is weird as shit.
It is. I still don't think he's not going to take off the mask.
Oh, I bet he does.
They always want to show the face. It's like, it's hard for them to never show.
I think they might
face.
show in like a flashback, but
I will say
he will be.
I would be like the balls on these guys if they didn't.
Oh man, I would love that. I mean, remember they did the Dredd.
Generally speaking, you should not do that with.
Remember when they did the Dredd movie and Carl Urban was like, "I'm not taking the mask off."
Yeah.
I really hope that RDJ was like, "Look, I'll do this, but I'm going to be Doom the whole time." Yeah, I think you're right, Nick. They'll show us a flashback.
Yeah.
To him as a younger man.
Because this opens with Sue Storm
talking about
right. So
Victor Von Doom.
That is the sort of narrative frame for this short little relatively short teaser trailer.
It's like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's saying something interesting, which is not typically part of Doom's lore, which is
he was kind.
She said when he was younger, he was kind and, he cared for people. And then she says, like, everything was taken away from him. So we assume that this is the death of his mother.
Right?
Yeah, it showed a tapestry with, like, a boy and a mom.
Right. Is that the one that looked like a medieval tapestry almost? Like,
yes.
So what I'm wondering, are they going to tweak the origin a little bit so that instead of him losing his mom at a young age, that he went to college with Reed and Sue and all of them, and his mom died at that point?
I think you could do that.
And that's when he decided, I'm going to get my mom back using sorcery and science.
It's not vital that it has to be done when he's a kid.
The idea of him being, Nick was saying off mic that he thinks he will be, essentially would have been the fifth member of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
That he was their friend. And I'm like, that's an interesting idea that he wasn't just this arrogant roommate of Reed's, but that he was like part of their like future foundation.
It would make sense.
Did they even mention in the FF movie? Did Doom even get named?
Yes. So there are two things. One, they show Latveria.
They do show
when they're showing how the world has come together, and it's like they're addressing the creation of the future foundation.
Yeah.
They pan over an empty chair from Latveria.
Yeah.
So the implication is that Doom is just not there for that, and then they show him at the very end. Doom is there. He has his mask.
Oh, right.
Franklin, then 4.5-year-old Franklin has the mask in his hand and is looking at his face.
Right.
And Sue comes in the room. So I believe what's going on. I have a lot of theories.
Yeah.
My theory, and I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. I believe that Doom knew the incursions were coming. The incursions are what's going to throw the multiverse into chaos and destroy all but one world. And Doom wants it to be his world. So he came and is grabbing Franklin to use his cosmic power to reshape the world around him. And he's the whole sizzle reel of Reed being like, "Did you do this?" I think Victor has scourged the X-Men's world.
I think so too.
And that's what we're seeing. I also think, in the tradition of Marvel not showing us trailers, that almost everything we've seen, the X-Men and all that, I bet that is in the first 20 minutes of the movie, and then the X-Men are gone. I bet it is Doom destroying the X-Men.
That's possible.
And that we will not see them again after that.
That would be a pretty intense way to establish yourself.
Yeah.
Like, the thing where Thanos took out like Hulk and Loki and all that stuff was a big establisher.
The only thing I will say, and they could have just shown this, but I don't think so, is that like we see Shang-Chi fighting Gambit. Yep. There might be remnants left.
Yeah, I have a feeling though that I think like at least Xavier and Magneto are not going to survive the first 20 minutes of this movie.
That'd be interesting. It was a little weird to me to see Reed saying like, Victor, did you do this with like so much emotion and stuff like that? And good acting, by the way.
Pedro
Pascal's great.
Yep.
But I'm like, oh wait, I have not seen him interact with Doom even once, so it's a little weird to see that. But the delivery was very good, and it felt like they knew.
I think he would bring that out in Reed. Right. Reed being so disappointed in him.
I think we're going to get that retroactive. They've had this relationship.
And
I'm fine with that.
I agree. I think that's a really good. I also think seeing the Sentinels looking more like the Sentinels they have in any Marvel movie.
Yeah, sure.
And Doom sort of resurrecting them as his like troops.
Yeah,
that is cool. Doom and Sentinels is not a thing we've seen before.
I don't quite understand why he would be doing that.
I think probably they're going to be the robots he uses to kill the X-Men.
Yeah,
that he is in the wreckage of what he's caused, and the X-Men are like trying to fight him to prevent the reality from being destroyed, and he just summons up the Sentinels to kill the X-Men.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
We have a lot of theories. I guess we'll see in
a few months. Yeah, but he looks like Doom.
He does.
They really seem to have gotten Doom.
And the big thing they do to just show you like, his power scale is kind of the stopping Thor's.
He stops Thor's hammer with his hands, then slaps it out of Thor's hands.
Yeah. He looks like he's probably doing essentially some sort of magical gesture with that.
Yeah. I'm very excited to see the take on Doom. I'm really excited to see what the movie is, and we know it's going to lead into Secret Wars.
Yeah.
I am about as excited as I was before Endgame. So, and I was not. I've been skeptical for a little while.
A little something called Spider-Man came up.
A little something Spider-Man, and then the trailers for Doomsday.
Yeah.
So I am hopeful. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about some TV and movie news, and possibly some other news. All right, we are now going to talk about some trailers and stuff, or some news that came out recently and all the way back to like San Diego.
Okay.
Let's start with the X-Men cast, which just dropped at D23.
We had gotten a couple.
We knew.
And then suddenly they unleashed.
We knew about Sadie Sink.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spoilers.
And we also knew about.
And we heard Samara Weaving. However,
and that is Samara Weaving as
Emma Frost.
Emma Frost. Yes.
Kit Connor from Heartstoppers is going to be Cyclops, which they just revealed that right before all this.
Yep.
And at D23, they dropped a bunch more. So Indy Navarrete from Obsession is going to be Rogue. People seem very excited about this.
Although, weirdly, by the way, and of course this is the internet, I've seen some backlash. Of
course.
And I'm not quite sure where it's coming from.
They wanted Kaylee Spaney to do it.
Yeah, they wanted somebody else. I don't know who that is.
She's just another actress. She's been kind of vying for the role.
Oh, okay. I'm always curious if it's somebody who like notably has like a southern accent and is like,
I don't know.
No.
So
okay,
and
whatever.
Then there's also the other side of this. There's people griping because they're like, this great. We know people like this who are like, she's such a great indie actress and now she'll be locked into Marvel for 10 years. And I'm like, yeah, nothing worse than having regular work as an actor.
Yeah.
And also she will do plenty of other stuff besides Marvel movies in the next 10 years.
Right.
But her as Rogue, Maya Boyd, who's a Broadway actress, as Storm.
Right. Yeah.
And then Christopher Abbott, who I don't recognize the name. I know he's
been in some
He's in his 40s. As Professor X.
Professor X, okay.
And then the big reveal, Adam Driver as Mr. Sinister.
I think that's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Adam Driver's a great actor.
Yep.
By the way, I what's been kind of a nice heartwarming thing is I've seen several of the people who are like X-Men 97 voice actors and stuff like that doing their like Welcome to the Club or like Rogue and Storm voice actors. And kind of doing like, looking forward to, sharing a coffee with you next time you're in town.
Yeah.
Like very much passing the baton and really, really cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of what you want to see.
The opposite of how the fans react to things.
Yes. But I think there is a lot is a lot of fan enthusiasm.
There is. And there should be, because this is a great cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
and
that they're...
the director's somebody, right?
did they announce
Yeah, they announced the director. And I saw people were excited about that too.
Oh, I didn't see that.
But
why did I see that?
I don't know. But the
I think what's interesting
Jake
about
Schreier. I don't know who that is. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
What I was going to say about the cast is that the cast is not like unknown unknowns, but they're certainly lesser knowns for the most part, with a few big anchors. You know, what's his name?
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver is one of the anchors. But
it's also, by the way, they're younger. Casting Xavier at 40 and casting them at like their 20 and actors in their 20s, they are planning for making multiple X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Jake Schreier says, digging into those comics, he's taking elements from Chris Claremont's run and John Hickman's run,
which makes me nervous.
But look, there should be some new energy to it too.
So he directed season 1 of Beef, which I hated, but that was the writing, not the directing. And Thunderbolts, which I loved.
Oh, he did Thunderbolts.
Yes, he did Thunderbolts.
I like Thunderbolts.
Oh, he also directed an episode of Skeleton Crew.
Okay, sure.
And has done some other TV stuff.
Yeah, Thunderbolts was good.
Yeah, so
Disney doesn't. I mean, they like to promote from within.
Yeah.
So
one of the questions I have is this the whole cast?
No.
You think we got more mutants coming?
Yes.
Because I was a little bummed that there's not an Iceman, Angel, Beast.
The OG team.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get those.
I don't think we will either. And honestly, I'm gonna say Iceman and Angel are boring characters. Like there have been good stuff done with them, but they're boring characters.
They are boring characters.
They are.
So
but by the way, who is it? No, it's what's his name? Archangel comes out of Apocalypse stories, not Mr. Sinister.
Not Mr. Sinister. But if I can't have Beast, how am I going to get my Wonder Man Beast series?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
This is just Nick personally is like, I love Adam Driver.
Yeah.
I don't really care for Sinister.
No, I don't either. I need to sort of be sold on him, but I could definitely see ways they can do it.
But I'm glad they're not doing
usually,
like
yeah.
Who is it like? I actually blur sometimes Sinister and Apocalypse as far as their methodology.
Yeah.
Who wants to cull mutants and only the strong survive?
That's Apocalypse.
That's Apocalypse. Sinister, I know, is obsessed with the family gene for the Summers family.
He wants to create the ultimate mutant, basically.
So is he still looking for mutant takeover?
I think he just kind of wants to create the ultimate
mad scientist.
Yeah, Nathaniel Essex has been alive forever.
He comes from like the 16th century or something like that. So the theory I saw, which makes a lot of sense, is if they want to go back to the original mutants, like when mutants happened, then Sinister's a great vehicle for that because he was around when the first mutants happened.
By the way, I just had this super crazy idea that would be kind of a fun one. That's like almost, it doesn't quite make sense, but if they showed him like in a medieval time period, like say they began in like 1608 or whatever, and they show him in this castle and they show him like with some early mutants and like if there's any Marvel characters, like that were around then, you could guest star a Marvel character too, like Black Knight or whatever.
Yeah.
You know how Toad looks medieval?
Yes.
He has like a little medieval...
He created a medieval Toad?
Yeah, go ahead and have him be that Toad.
I kind of like that idea.
But I was like, I don't know how you get that guy into the present, because Mr. Sinister doesn't time travel, he just lives a long time.
Yeah.
But he's not a time travel guy, really.
No, he's not.
Yeah. So, anyway, but I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and suggest that Toad be in medieval character.
You know what they've never done that they could? They've never touched on Sinister and Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Because Frankenstein is a Marvel character.
Yeah.
They won't do it in
the actual...
They won't do it in the movies. But if they did a comic where like Victor Frankenstein and Sinister were like basically rival scientists.
Yeah, or what if he like has some, basically his mad scientist side is like Werewolf by Night connections.
Yes.
Like he knows him through that or Man Thing. Because one of my favorite also kind of forgotten Marvel properties of the last 10 years
Werewolf by Night.
Was the Werewolf by Night one shot that they did.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say I don't know how you do X-Men without Wolverine.
I'm glad they're not. I think this is kind of like Transformers. I don't think they're going to.
How do you do G.I. Joe without Snake Eyes?
That's what I was about to say.
25 issues in.
Or Transformers without Bumblebee. I think it's a deliberate choice because Wolverine was such the center of X-Men.
Yeah.
I think Marvel is extremely smart to be like, we're not going to try and compete with everybody's beloved Hugh Jackman. We're going to do our own thing without Wolverine. I think that is super smart.
I don't think you can.
There's no way Wolverine's in this movie.
I think you can, actually.
Nick, I'm going on record now. Wolverine's not in this movie.
I'm not convinced he's not, but I do think you can do it. And I think, honestly, I've always said they could do like an Alpha Flight movie and like Wolverine is the team leader in it. And then he has like a big split with them, some ideological thing or whatever. Or they turn him into, Weapon X, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he goes and joins the X-Men. it doesn't even necessarily have to do. You don't even have to do Alpha Flight. You could do a Wolverine solo movie that's like a Weapon X movie first or something.
Right, but they should do Alpha Flight.
They should do Alpha Flight. I would much rather have that than like Maverick and Sabretooth auditions with him.
I think that'd be great.
Yep.
I just think Disney boardroom back thing.
No. Here's the thing. Remember, they have $2 billion Spider-Man, $2.5 billion Doomsday. Someone in the room is going to be like, "What is our Rocket Raccoon?" Canadian Alpha Flight.
Yeah, because man, that is like a whole new like they're like we could do a whole new Guardians of the Galaxy if these guys take off.
And instead of the Galaxy, it's Canada.
Yeah, Nick, I never thought that you would be such a company man.
Dare to dream, Nick. Dare to dream. Dream with us.
I'm just saying.
Dream of a day when Puck is on the big screen.
Listen, if somebody had said that they were going to introduce the X-Men through Spider-Man or whatever, we would not have believed that.
Yeah. I think
and then it would be good.
I think we're going to get a very different X-Men. I think we're going to see Xavier pulling the team together because we know Jean's like on her own.
We're getting a ton of telepaths.
We're getting a lot of telepaths.
3 of them.
Yep.
3 of them?
Emma Frost.
Right.
Now, I assume Emma Frost, that I don't know, but if they are essentially 3 factions, if Emma's trying to recruit, Sinister's trying to recruit, and Xavier's trying to recruit.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting new way to do it. Also, like, depending on how they do it, the status of her powers is, Jean wasn't doing traditional telepathy a whole lot in the Spider-Man movie. Yeah. She's kind of doing but body swap.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess, but she did level up.
She did, yeah.
It may be presenting very differently.
Also, as X-Men, this is a team of heavy hitters. This is Phoenix level Jean Grey, basically.
Yeah.
Cyclops is powerful. Rogue is powerful. Storm is powerful.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, will Rogue have powers, or will she just be draining powers?
I mean, is she going to go to Brie Larson?
I love the idea of them doing it, of taking Captain Marvel's powers.
Does Captain Marvel have pew-pew powers in the movies, too?
Yeah.
I don't really want Rogue to have pew-pew powers.
Right.
But you know what? Like, if she took it, but like didn't quite get all of it, so she got her strength.
If she dreams some of it and gets some of her personality, it would do the same thing.
Yeah.
And then you can still have Captain Marvel.
You could do something like that. People were throw them like in the same way that Jean started off the way she did with Spidey.
Yeah.
What if like Rogue was a pretty bad person at first?
Yeah.
And then she kind of becomes better because she gets some of Carol in there. And then her struggle is she's like, is that even me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
We don't know anything other than casting and director, and what we've seen of Jean Grey, and I'm super excited about all the possibilities of them doing something completely different.
The X-Men are my Avengers, basically.
Yeah.
And so I'm rooting for this extra hard.
Yeah.
And also I'm trying to be open to, them doing some new stuff and surprising me.
Yeah.
And I generally am because Spider-Man convinced me.
I mean, I am a little bummed because there's no Nightcrawler, who is my favorite X-Man. Yeah. Nightcrawler also, spoilers for X-Men 97, maybe not be in season 3 of X-Men 97.
Right. He had a rough week.
Yeah. So, but he was so prevalent in season 2.
Yeah.
And in bits of season 1.
Yeah.
That it's nice to see Nightcrawler again. Same with Colossus. We got one great episode with him in X-Men 97. Yeah. We might talk about X-Men 97 next week if we get a time.
Yes.
But Colossus could be. We don't know. Maybe they've cast him. We don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping that there are both some big new names to still reveal and maybe a couple obscure ones.
Do we think that they're going to get possibly bring in Miss Marvel,
Kamala Khan? I don't think so, but it would be awesome.
I would love that if she was in the mix.
I would really like that.
I want her on the core X-Men team.
I don't
I don't know that I don't.
I don't in the comics, but I do in the movies.
Yeah, the comics did a very good job with her as her own thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like the version that they've done in the TV show and stuff like that, and the Marvels, could work.
What I really want is the Young Avengers she's been putting together in the post-credit sequence, but I'm not sure we're going to get it.
Yeah.
But once Avengers Doomsday makes $3.7 billion.
Because when is X-Men supposed to... Is it 2028?
2028. Which, by the way, not the only movie. We were talking about this off mic, and I was like, is Secret Wars the only movie we're getting from Marvel in 2027? And it might be. I feel like there's got to be something else that I'm forgetting. I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what the landscape looks after Secret Wars if they do their whole...
Doomsday.
Vision Quest is this year?
Yeah. Vision Quest is next year.
Okay, so not a movie, but...
January 2027. So there'll be a TV series.
Yep.
And then we'll get Secret Wars at the end of the year.
Yep.
But Marvel has no summer movie? That's insane. There's got to be something I'm forgetting. I don't know. I'll look it up. But 2028, we now have 3 movies announced. We have X-Men. We have David Johnson from Alien Romulus is playing the new Black Panther in Black Panther 3.
Yes. That's a bit of casting I'm way into.
Me too.
Ever since I saw Romulus, I've been saying over and over again that this dude was the breakout and just absolutely smashed that role.
He's going to play T'Challa's son, T'Challa.
Yeah. I think he's going to, and isn't like Ryan Coogler returning to direct?
returning to do it. Yeah.
That's huge. You know, like the guy who made Sinners now, in addition to the original Black Panther.
Yeah.
Next year,
but to me, he'll always be the guy who made Creed, which I love.
Yeah.
Avengers Secret War.
That's
in
it?
December.
Okay. That's weird. That's so weird. There's got to be a secret movie they haven't revealed to us yet.
No.
Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night, Midnight Suns.
Yes, the Midnight Suns movie that they haven't announced, but it's been secretly filmed.
Secret Blade
is all done. Blade secretly, and this whole thing has been it's all a false flag smoke screen. It's a smoke screen.
And this is when Randy pulled out his Charlie Day.
Yep, 100%.
And put on his Alex Jones voice. He's like, "Oh, what I'm thinking, what Marvel's trying to do here."
I think Secret Wars is going to be like massive.
I do too.
I think it is going to change everything.
Yeah, and it's going to be really cool when the Midnight Suns get into Secret Wars after the success of their summer movie. Anyway,
that's a great point.
The other movie, speaking of Midnight Suns, Ryan Gosling is playing Ghost Rider.
Yep. Yes.
Now, Ghost Rider they've tried 3 times before. They did 2 movies, and then the Robbie Reyes version in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. So 2 Nicolas Cage crazy movies.
Yep.
1 Robbie Reyes in the TV show.
In the boring Natives of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And so none of it's taken off so far.
No.
Ryan Gosling is huge.
Yes.
We don't know what version he's playing.
So he's going to be coming off Star Wars Starfighter. So I guess Gosling is just like, I'm going to do all the franchises.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll do Star Trek.
He's kind of doing his Tom Cruise thing. He kind of began with more indie roles and stuff like that.
Yep.
Who knows? He might be a geek at heart.
He might be.
Like he wants to do all the fun stuff.
Now he's he seems like a pretty decent dude when I've seen him.
Yeah.
Now, probably secretly terrible.
I mean, I'm sure he eats babies.
But I have yet to see that side of him, so I'm going to go and assume he's halfway decent.
He eats babies, kicks puppies.
Oh, what a good guy.
But yeah, he did Barbie, Fall Guy, and then Project Hail Mary.
Yeah. But yeah, that is a big get for Marvel.
Yeah, it is.
He's like, he's basically, it's like getting Tom Cruise, to be honest.
No, I hope this actually comes to fruition as opposed to the Mahershala Ali.
No, you shut your mouth.
Personal preferences, by the way, I hope he's Johnny Blaze.
I also do, but I kind of wanted to be Danny Ketch.
I can accept it, except, like, Danny Ketch was what? Was he like a 20-something dude?
He was late teens or early 20s, maybe. I think he was young.
Was he like a student? Did he have a job?
Yeah, that's the thing. He's not a stunt riding motorcycle guy.
Right.
Now, what I want is them to do what the MCU does and incorporate some of the Danny Ketch elements. Because as we talked about with somebody in the store the other day, Dave, Ghost Rider, the original one had weird... No, I don't think you were here for this. I was talking with John Sitton about this. Yeah. Ghost Rider has weird-ass powers. The original Ghost Rider could, like, drive and throw fire.
Yep, that's kind of it.
And the Ghost Rider everybody loves has the chains and the penance stare and the cool motorcycle and all that stuff. Yep. And I think you got to throw all that stuff into the movie.
They incorporated that into the Nicolas Cage stuff.
Yes.
I would say yes, but I would also say that if you kind of did a little bit of a period piece thing, let Ryan Gosling get like a shaggy 70s haircut.
Yeah.
Already Drive, kind of, that movie Drive he was in kind of had a retro look to it.
Fall Guy had that element of that too. So.
And so if they presented him as either sort of dude a little bit out of time or actually literally from the 70s, I don't know how you get him into the present. Maybe he doesn't age.
I mean, Ghost Rider doesn't age.
Yeah,
right?
Whatever. And so he's like... And you do the Johnny Blaze thing, and you could do it where he's kind of a guy with some sort of 70s biker / punk rock attitude. Yeah. I think that could work.
What's the demon that inhabits Ghost Rider?
Zarathos
or bust, man.
Here's the thing.
Sure.
I feel like if they want to make it successful, they should incorporate some of the Danny Ketch stuff. Blackout, the vampire is like a villain. Yeah. Like the original Ghost Rider doesn't have great villains. He has the orb.
What about the orb?
He has the orb. I would like to see the orb, actually.
But he was also he duked it out with like Mephisto and people like that.
I think you should do something fun. Cast somebody really fun for Lilith. Have it be like Mia Goth or something like that.
Or you have sexy like Satana or something like that.
And what I really hope is that obviously Mahershala Ali isn't happening, but it'd be great if Wesley Snipes' Blade is in this.
That'd be so awesome.
I think we're done with Wesley Snipes' Blade.
I bet we're not.
Oh, Wesley Snipes' Blade? I do think we're done.
I think Wesley Snipes would come back in a heartbeat.
Honestly, I think this X-Men is the last of the 26.
We'll see. Wesley Snipes, people love the whole Wesley Snipes. There's only one Blade. There's only ever going to be one Blade. If they brought him in for some kind of cameo in Ghost Rider, people would go nuts. And Wesley Snipes will do it. That man got tax problems.
But he had his swan song in Wolverine Deadpool.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say about Ghost Rider, if they do Danny Ketchum or whatever, I'm open to whatever they want to do. Ghost Rider is also not so sacred in its lore that you can't mess around with it a bit. They could essentially merge the two, and I'd still be okay with it.
I do think it should be Johnny Blaze, the stunt driver. That's the better version of it. Robbie Reyes, I think, should be a younger person. He needs to be 20 years old or whatever, or 22. So I just hope he's not Robbie. I know they'd be gun shy about doing this after the Marvels, but what I really want is Ghost Rider to do really well, for him to be Johnny Blaze, and for Ghost Riders, the sequel, to bring in Danny Ketch and Robbie Reyes. That'd be cool. And do the Midnight Suns.
The perfect version of the Ghost Rider movie for me is that we get the kind of dual timeline, sort of a la Lanterns, where you had Johnny Blaze as that.
And now he's a ponytail guy with a ponytail
with the shotgun.
By the way, Nick, you need to play Midnight Suns.
Because that is my favorite version of Johnny Blaze.
I know it is, and he's in Midnight Suns. You would love Johnny Blaze in Midnight Suns.
And then he is kind of coaching a young person who is inhabited by the Ghost Rider.
They do something similar to that in Midnight Sun with Robbie Reyes and Johnny, and it works. I don't think they'll do it here.
No, but that'd be mine.
It would be kind of fun.
Yeah, I'd be down for it.
All I know is Ryan Gosling can definitely play that role.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling's great.
We're gonna get Black Panther, Ghost Rider, and X-Men in 2028. So everyone who's Marvel's dead, they're basically running out of gas. They should shut up, because this year alone we're going to see Spider-Man. Now, I do think they did retreat a little back to what was safe.
Yeah.
And it does suck they didn't give us Wonder Man Season 2 after they renewed it.
It is not so different from how the comics work.
Yeah.
This is how the comics are. There are times when Marvel will, and DC will retreat into a Justice League or an X-Men or Avengers or whatever that's a little bit safe, but sometimes that's still good because they'll put good people on it. And there's times where they steer a little wrong, but kind of it's a little like with your sports teams. You stick with your guys. Yeah.
Well, it's funny to go to the other side of the studio. People were all after Supergirl didn't underperformed, I guess that's it for the Gunverse. And then Lanterns comes out and everybody loves it.
Right. And maybe take a bigger picture view.
Yeah, maybe hold off a little second on declaring, and the second anything doesn't work as a gangbusters thing.
And I'm going to put money that Clayface will make money.
I think it will too. I think Clayface, I'm not sure it's going to be for me.
Right. But I think
it's going to do well.
Horror, darkness.
Flanagan is just a good writer.
I am a little worried that everything that's succeeding from DC, with the exception of Superman, is dark. And
it is weird. Superman is very much the odd man out.
Because people do really like the darker DC, the real realistic DC. And I hope they don't steer into that skid.
They want them,
but I can understand why they would.
Yeah.
So I hope that doesn't become the case.
I guess it is good news that Superman did very well. Yeah. And it is a very full-on superhero, up-tempo sort of thing. It's not like it didn't acknowledge, Lex Luthor just executed some dude in front of him. It has some dark shit.
Killed a person?
Yeah, and Hawkgirl executed some dude.
But that guy deserved
it.
Speaking of, Superman Man of Tomorrow, we know we're going to get Lex in the battlesuit.
Yep.
We know we're going to get Brainiac. We've talked about casting for Brainiac.
Yep.
They revealed that Zolo Maradania is going to reprise Blue Beetle.
Oh, yeah. I did hear about that. I did hear about that.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Because that's a fun character.
Yep.
And
that could lead into some fun things for them, they should get a Young Justice thing going on or something.
Well,
although it's weird to do that before Justice League.
We could also have Blue Beetle meet up with Guy Gardner and get to Justice League International.
One of these companies has to do a Young Avengers team type.
Wouldn't it be? It'd be great if 2029, 2030, there is a dueling Young Avengers and a Young Justice movie.
Yeah.
I would love that.
They should bring it on.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to some comic and gaming news because we have a little bit of time. The big news is that Marvel Comics is leaving New York about a decade after DC did, I think, and moving out to Los Angeles.
Right.
And that their new editor-in-chief is going to be Stephen Wacker, which is weird for me because I now know both people in charge of Marvel and DC.
That's pretty cool.
Stephen Wacker used to be on the Usenet forums that I was on when I was doing my original reviews. I went and saw his superhero-themed improv show, Kapow, I think, Kabam, in New York. And more notably, Stephen Wacker was the editor who gave us Hawkeye, the Matt Fraction Hawkeye, some notable other stuffs.
What is his job at Marvel?
He is now the editor-in-chief.
Editor-in-chief, okay.
And he was at the time, he moved to LA in 2013 and worked on animation, including Avengers Assemble, Guardians of the Galaxy. He's working in Marvel Television.
What was the impetus for this upheaval, by the way?
I believe it's just that they were just they want to condense the studio and the comics a little more. So Brad Winderbaum, who is the head of Marvel TV, is now going to be officially the head of Marvel Entertainment.
Okay.
And the head, like the top of the Marvel. So he will be Wacker's boss, essentially.
Yeah.
So if they're going to do a little more synergy with the TV and movie stuff, they're going to have somebody who actually knows what's coming up on the TV and movie side.
Right.
And I think that's probably a good thing, even though I know that makes people very nervous.
Right.
Well, because the potential for bad is great.
You don't want them running, you don't want them, you don't want the tail wagging the dog.
Right.
But it's, to some extent, you do want a little bit of that, like...
You do need the, I hate to say, synergy.
You want that, though.
Yeah, we don't want to sound like a bunch of corporate buzzword people, but it's not the craziest idea.
So Wacker was assistant editor on JLA Avengers. He was the editor on Jeff Johns' JSA. He was the editor of 52, that really ambitious weekly project.
Yep.
He was then an editor on Amazing Spider-Man, Daredevil, Hawkeye. I believe his Daredevil was it was 2010 to 2013, which I think would have been the Mark Waid stuff, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
And then he was there on Captain Marvel, and he was the editor and co-creator of Miss Marvel.
Okay.
He also has worked on It's Jeff, so maybe we'll see some more Jeff stuff.
Listen, we're gonna see Jeff in Doomsday.
I don't think we are.
I'm gonna go ahead and put down $10 right here, right now.
Who are you betting against?
Every person in our audience who dares to defy me.
Dave's going to make a lot of money on that, or lose a lot of money.
That's right.
Anyway, I think Steve Wacker is going to be a great editor-in-chief for Marvel.
Yeah.
And I think having Marvel in LA, I saw a lot of people it is a little weird for them not to be in New York.
Right. But it's such you're talking about just because it's
Marvel is so New York.
So entrenched, all their heroes and stuff in it, yeah.
But the thing is, the people who've been creating for Marvel mostly aren't in New York.
Wait, is this time to go with a thanks, Mom Donnie?
I do think that you don't have to be a New Yorker to write New York.
No.
I think that people that I saw someone talking about how well New York was represented in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and that was Glasgow, Scotland. So you can do New York.
Well, in the era when things are also so much stuff is submitted digitally these days, I actually don't know nowadays how many people writing and drawing for Marvel are physically based in New York.
No, they're all in Portland or Brazil or Canada.
Brazil.
Yeah, all the creators are anywhere.
Right.
The editors might have been in New York, but I don't think that made that much of a difference. So I don't think we'll notice the difference of the relocation, except that some people who are working in editorial or in marketing may not want to leave New York, and we will lose them from Marvel.
I think we saw a lot of the creators and kind of lament this because the Marvel offices in New York were pretty cool.
It's kind of a cool thing, yeah.
But they'll create something just as cool in LA.
Yeah. Although from what I hear, the DC offices in LA are not fun to visit. They're just offices.
Oh, well, that's sad.
I think corporate probably is not invested in making a cool-looking facility.
Tourable.
They just want somewhere people can work.
Yeah.
But I think that I think arranging them around the movies a little bit more is probably a good idea. I understand why comics people who are purists would be horrified by this, but
I'm just saying it's
gonna
Hollywood.
happen.
Just have them build the Four Freedoms Tower and work out of that. It's fine. It's fine. That would be cool.
No, Nick, the West Coast Avengers compound.
Nah, the Four Freedoms Tower would be better.
No, Hydrobase.
Some other comics news that came out in San Diego. They announced Star Wars Marvel.
Yep.
The crossover with Kevin Smith and David Marquez.
Yep.
I would have preferred Jason Aaron.
I would too.
But I think Kevin Smith will pull it off.
At the very least, I think he'll do something fun and interesting.
Yeah.
I know. Do we presume that this may be the first salvo of what may be multiple crossover projects?
Wouldn't shock me, but it's a 5-issue miniseries. I like the idea of this coming together. I know, again, some people are horrified by it, but I am a crossover fan. I like these cheesy things.
Well, like, we're honestly, we have been for like 10 years or so in some stripe of a golden age for crossovers.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles, Godzilla, Power Rangers, they are all intermixing, and it's surprising how often these are good projects.
Yes, DC Sonic is great, even though I don't know anything about Sonic.
And DC Power Rangers was great, even though we don't know anything about Power Rangers.
I feel like comic book fans just like to bitch.
That is true.
And like and there is also like doomsaying is a full-time job for these people.
I think crossovers are great.
Because what, like, are you worried that like, oh, now every Marvel comic is going to have an Ewok in it? No, you dumb fuck.
No, we're going to have a 5-issue miniseries. Yeah.
And if it's successful, we'll do a few more. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to impact.
But in the meantime, you just have some fun watching Doctor Doom face off against Vader or whatever. You know, there's going to be cool shit going down.
Or if you don't, just don't read it.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, pipe down.
That was always allowed.
What happens if you close your laptop?
Yeah.
Find out.
Then the podcast ended. But Jason Aaron, it turns out, is he busy doing something else for Marvel I'm excited about.
Yeah.
That is Indiana Jones and the Sword of Pandemonium.
Oh, yeah.
With him and Aaron Cooter. I love the idea of Jason Aaron doing Indiana Jones. I think he'll do great stuff with it.
So I actually read their Indiana Jones comic off and on in the 80s when they produced it, probably like 83 or something around in there. My brother picked up a few stray issues, and like, it wasn't great, but it was pretty good, and it's like literally there was nowhere else you could go at the time for more Indiana Jones stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, it's just taking him to all kinds of different locations and things like that. And like, now I feel like they do kind of, it was a little more freewheeling then.
Yeah.
You know, the writers could kind of do almost whatever they wanted with it. Here I know that they probably have, there's more approval and stuff to get done, but also it feels a little bit more like they sync with the movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so their Star Wars stuff feels more Star Wars-y, and Predator stuff and Aliens' stuff is just, it's a little bit more in line with it than, say, the freewheeling early Dark Horse days.
Yeah.
I think that an Indiana Jones thing, especially with world building Jason Aaron, could be very cool.
Here's the other thing. I have a piece of fan art that showed up on my memories.
Oh, yeah.
Of Indiana Jones and Cap together in World War II.
Yep.
And it just struck me like, oh, this could happen now.
This could happen.
And I want that crossover very badly.
Yep. What is it? Is he saying like
he says Cap and he says Doc.
Yeah, he's like
Doc. And a nod back to Iron Man and Cap.
Yep. And it looks like almost like they're on like some sort of like World War II battle lines.
Yeah, Cap has the helmet and a Tommy gun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very cool, and yes, could happen. But also, they could be like, I hope that they revisit some of the lore. Like, let's see some more with Lao She.
Yeah.
Let's see Short Round or Willie or like. You know, let's see his dad in there somewhere.
There's all kinds of stuff we're not going to see in the movies.
Yep.
I would love to see it in the comics.
What if he met at some point on an adventure and like it's the kind of thing like, yeah, this could be cheesy, but also could be cool.
Yep.
You know, the dude who gave him like the hat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That guy could kind of, they could cross paths again.
Also, they could do Indiana Jones the Rocketeer if they work with IDW.
That's right.
My bar is going to be very low. It's got to be better than Crystal Skull.
Indiana Jones and the Power Rangers.
Indiana Jones. I was going to say Turtles, but that works too.
It kind of does.
Indiana Jones, Turtles, Power Rangers versus Godzilla.
He's going to be like Short Round, this mutagens flooding. Turns out it goes back to an ancient Aztec.
There are two kinds of people, Dave. They're the people right now who are like, fuck yeah. And they're the people who are like, this is horrific.
Turn off, close the laptop.
Close the laptop.
Close it.
Before they say anything else. One last thing.
Yes.
DC Next Level announced a bunch of their next wave. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty exciting. Shadow the Bat by Deniz Camp and Javier Rodriguez. So that's the Martian Manhunter team.
Absolute Martian Manhunter team.
The Demon by James Herron, who is he's worked on Harrow County and
that's such a cool idea.
Yep.
I saw it's the Harrow County dude?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I saw like, who was it? It was somebody who said he's been like wanting to do a Demon series for years and years and has sent multiple pitches.
Wasn't it Eric Powell?
It could be Eric Powell. But instead of being like a jealous type, he's like, but then I found out my buddy so and so is doing it, and he's like, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah,
he's like, he's gonna nail this.
It was a classy,
super classy.
James Herron is gonna nail this.
Yeah.
Jonah Hex by Michael Walsh. who's the guy who did Silver Coin.
Oh, okay.
These are some cool creators they're pulling in.
And a lot of writer-artists is interesting.
Yep.
Vixen by Stephanie Williams and Carrie Randolph. That's a great team, too. Yep. Static Shock by Cody Ziegler and Diego Orletigui.
People are hungry for Static Shock stuff.
Yes, they are.
We've seen it, in the New Titan stuff. We've seen it in the crossover with Batman Beyond.
And Ziegler did a bunch of pretty good Miles Morales stuff.
Yeah. I will say, though, DC keeps trying with Static and nothing is hitting, so I really want one to connect.
I know, it's frustrating.
And there's a new one, Steel by Morgan Hampton. I don't know the name off the top of my head, but...
This is John Henry Irons?
Yes.
Okay.
So there was a big push by a group online called DC So White.
Yeah.
They were like, why don't you have any black characters as leads?
Yeah.
And so right after this, and they had this in the works because that happened a couple months ago, and it takes longer than that. So they announced Vixen, Static Shock, and Steel. Not only 3 black leads, but by black creators. Mm-hmm. And the people who made the DC So White haven't even said a word about it. I'm like, guys, you got to give credit when someone does something right.
Yeah. Yeah, those are all interesting ones. Steel is another one of those characters that I like. Steel. Yeah. I like when he guest stars in Superman stuff, but has yet to have I think a really strong run or a storyline that pulled me in anyway.
Priest did a really good run, but I think it wasn't well liked.
That's kind of cool.
It was great. It was actually, that's where he built up. He introduced Natasha.
Yeah.
And he definitely made John Henry Irons a better character.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, because it was, and I think, God, was it John Bogdanova on art? It was someone good on art.
Yeah, I like that dude.
And, but it was sort of in the 90s, and I think it ran under the radar for a lot of people. But it is a great run that they should put in trade.
Was it a run or a miniseries?
It was a run.
Okay.
He picked up someone else had been doing the series, maybe Louise Simonson.
Yeah.
And she
definitely, I think, was the OG.
He picked it up in the middle of the run, and it was him, and it might have been Dennis Cohen in art. But at any rate, it was a great run. I still have those single issues. They should put out a compendium of that series because it's really good.
They should. Maybe they will as this gets closer.
Will. Yeah.
By the way, Randy, the best steal was, of course, when you portrayed him in the Superman RPG I ran a year or two back, and everybody was playing characters in and around Superman's world. But that was very cool. It's a reminder that these characters have life in them, and like anything else, like even a character who's had some rough runs or some middling runs can come.
All you need is a 55-year-old white man to embody him.
That's right. I was actually talking about the other creators, Randy, but we've moved back to that. But if they would like Randy's input, they should get in touch with him.
That was super fun to play.
He did a really good steal.
I would not run a right steal, but I loved playing him.
Yeah.
All right, I said one more. There's one more. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
Magic has been doing this Universes Beyond stuff where they did Doctor Who, The Hobbit, Marvel superheroes,
Final Fantasy,
Turtles, Assassin's Creed. So they're doing D&D Universes Beyond. They're going to do Warcraft and Star Wars.
Yes.
Warcraft's already been announced. Like it's coming this year.
Yeah.
Star Wars is next year. But they also announced some interesting partnerships with like Kobold Press is going to do some official D&D stuff.
Right. Some third-party studios are going to develop out the settings.
Right. They're bringing in Luke Gygax to go back to Greyhawk.
Yep.
They are giving, they haven't said exactly what, but Ari Salvatore, who did Drist, has some kind of deal that he's doing something. So there's going to be more Forgotten Realms stuff. They're bringing back Dark Sun for 5th edition, which is a great idea.
And they're making it a full, rated M, mature. It's going to be edgy. It's going to have probably swearing and violence. I think they said it's going to be shrink wrapped. There could be some nudity. They're going to run with it.
I think that's smart.
I think it's smart too. And we don't I got the impression that the World of Warcraft thing is essentially an alternate player's guide and stuff like that, where it's going to have all the classes from the game and stuff like that, but use D&D rules. And I think that's a good idea. So don't quite know how they're going to do the Star Wars thing. It's not just D20 Star Wars.
We don't know much,
right?
But no, it's going to be.
It's a D20 and Star Wars.
They call these things seasons.
Okay.
So the season of survival is Dark Sun, which is 2 books. The Blood and Power gameplay expansion and the Edge of Oblivion adventure expansion.
Okay.
So that's pretty good.
It's good.
Warcraft is the Season of Champions, which I believe is happening in October?
Okay.
Maybe? No, it's late. It's November. That's in November. So I'm guessing Dark Sun will be October? We haven't even seen solicits for this yet, which is kind of... Oh, no, it says later in 2027, so it is next year. So it's not the same thing. Warcraft is first. And then Star Wars is the Season of Rebellion, and we don't really know much about it. It's just coming in 2027.
Right.
But they're also doing something called D&D Icons, which is bringing back Tracy Hickman to do Dragonlance, Luke Gygax to do Greyhawk, and R.A. Salvatore to do Driss Do'Urden stuff. We don't know exactly what. It was just going to be like novels, or maybe it's going to be game books. There's a Greyhawk adventure coming out called Crown of the Witch Queen, which explores the story of the vampire daughter of Igwilv the Witch Queen, also known as Tasha.
Okay. I have to be honest, most of this stuff sounds pretty cool to me.
And then they have what they're calling the studio partnerships. So there's going to be a Return to Ravenloft, the Domains of Dread with Ghostfire Gaming. I don't know who that is. Eberron featuring the Lord of Blades from Visionary Productions, and Forgotten Realms content from Kobold Press.
Smart.
They're doing a lot of stuff, yeah. So
I think the thing that most interests me, even though I don't do World of Warcraft, I will enjoy looking through that. That sounds neat. I know enough. The Star Wars stuff interests me. The Dragonlance thing, I want to see what they do with it. Yeah. I'm interested to see what they do with Drizzt. That's kind of interesting, difficult if there's actual gameplay stuff, because he's like a singular character. But I suppose if you were going to do like a D&D solo game, that was kind of choose your own adventure with some dice rolling, and you're Drizzt.
If they did a solo game that is you playing Drizzt, that would sell so much.
They should consider something like that.
So that's kind of exciting. It's funny. I had drifted a little bit away from D&D. I picked up Daggerheart. I haven't played much of anything recently, but I was like, maybe I'm done with D&D. Yeah. And then they put out that Ravenloft, and I picked that up.
Yep.
And they will definitely get me back with Dark Sun.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not done after all.
Oh, yeah, and Dark Sun interests me, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like Dark Sun.
It has mantis people and cannibal halflings who ride dinosaurs.
Yes. No, not dinosaurs. That's Eberron.
Son of a bitch.
They're just cannibal halflings.
Cannibal halflings.
Yes. Halflings, dinosaurs, Eberron, cannibal halflings, Dark Sun. Halflings with furry feet, Hobbit.
Yes.
Halflings that steal stuff, Kender, Dragonlance.
Yep.
I don't know what the halflings in D&D do. There's halflings.
They steal stuff. The halflings with top knots are.
Oh, right. Halflings with top knots. Yeah.
That's what makes them different. And you know what else, Randy? They have a Hoopak stick.
They have a Hoopak
Never
stick.
forget the Hoopak.
It's true.
Never forget. All right. That will wrap it up for us this week. We'll be back next week with more. And until that time, yo, Joe. Roguecast is a weekly podcast broadcast from Rogues Gallery Comics and Games in Round Rock, Texas. You can find us online on Facebook and at www.roguesgallerytx.com and email us comments or questions at roguesgallerytx@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.